Where in the fuck
are you not profiting from this?
are you not profiting from doing this? Well, actually, see the thing. No, bitch.
Like, dude.
Because nobody can explain to me how it's a nonprofit, but you pay everybody.
Bro,
do they make a profit by working there? Yeah. So how the fuck is this a nonprofit?
The NFL was nonprofit until like 10 years ago.
What?
The NFL, it was nonprofit.
That's
until,
why
like,
they're
10 years
billionaires
ago.
owning it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, we don't make money on this.
Bro,
This is our
another thing,
pastime,
man.
nigga.
You can't tell
You
me.
just have to scoot it just a little bit more.
I guess if you're a billionaire, it's probably nonprofit because you probably spend more money than what you fucking
Mike
make.
Brown don't spend more money than what he makes.
Well, no, not him.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't count.
That cord is just dragging it to hell.
No, it's.
Oh God, I can
But
see
dude-
your pee-pee, dude.
Sweatpants.
So you cannot.
You fucking liar,
Sir.
But
I know
fucking-
a
those-
good
that,
joke when I hear one.
That giant email leak, dude. Like, those fucking owners have a secret
Oh,
society.
the Pandora,
The Pandora's box,
the
basically.
Pandora pages. Is that what it's called?
well,
Pandora
the,
pages.
the Gruden emails that came
Oh,
out.
I haven't seen those. Oh, from the
Like,
NFL.
oh,
I thought
yeah.
you meant like
Oh,
the
those
like
are horrific.
like because like
Bro.
the Pandora pages. Have you heard like it's called like the Pandora pages?
I don't think so.
It's like leaks of all of the fucking
Your talons are
all
right behind you
of
on
the
ground.
world's like major officials funneling money into
Right.
fucking offshore fucking accounts,
Right.
and it leaked, and
Come
it's
on.
everywhere. Like
Oh, really?
like
Well, I mean,
people from like you're like, oh
Yeah.
you slimy
Uh-huh.
sack of
Bitch.
shit.
yeah, Biden and Hunter Biden just had a account come out that they're
Probably.
that they're linked on. It's just
Dude.
Hunter and Joe, and it's like some overseas account. It might be a Chinese.
Everybody that's in charge of the fucking country
account.
is
They're making
doing
money somewhere.
something
Yes,
that they're not
Yes.
supposed to be.
they're
doing.
And
leaving.
all they're
They
doing
all
is,
they all
I
leave
fucking
office.
do it too.
Be monetarily, be fucking ethically, be
Yeah.
morally. They're doing something that they're not supposed to
insider
do.
trading.
If believe me, if I was rich and powerful and in the government,
Fuck yeah.
I'd be doing the
Abuse
same
that shit.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
I'd be like,
that's,
I can make this many more dollars by claiming blah blah blah.
But
sure.
I mean that's the basis of like. How can I say it? It's like
Society.
no, it's the corruption. That's why you get corrupted because now you can't.
yes,
General.
Once
Because
you
you
become
can't do that.
untouchable-
Us, we
Nah.
can't do
we
that.
get caught yesterday.
We
So,
gone.
so you
We
get
gone.
corrupted because you can do
Right.
it.
Right.
It's not because I'm trying to be shady and trying
Yes.
to make
Actually-
no, I can do this.
Yep.
And people are gonna say, "Oh, it's all right."
Yes,
Government-
and now, yeah, I'm just in a class.
I'm not
where it's
corrupted. Everybody around me does it. Would you feel corrupted if everybody around you drank beer? No, because everybody's drinking beer.
Right, but you are corrupted.
But you are corrupted.
But if you're
drinking
sitting
the
there
fucking beer.
on Tuesday at 9 a.m. by yourself drinking a beer, you're gonna feel a little weird.
Yeah,
about
right?
it.
Exactly. See, it's the.
I
My
guess it
guy.
depends who you are.
My fucking guy. That makes so much sense.
Yes.
Dude, yeah. God damn it. I missed it.
We're rolling, y'all.
Welcome to the show.
Guys.
What's up, y'all? We're back on episode. I think it's 27. Harmeyer,
sure?
do you remember what
Not at all.
episode that we're
No,
on?
I have no idea.
Okay,
You could have said 22. Could have said 14.
we're gonna go with 27
Pre-rose
right now.
episode.
Okay,
27, fine.
we got a big episode ahead of you. We've got Harmeyer's leaving, so he'll be back. But Max is back, and
Hey,
fucking
man.
Stolzies is back.
Sexy light skin dude right here.
We can go into this a little bit before we get started. Though I do want to tell everyone to go to my SoundCloud page. It's linked in every single fucking description that we have on every single social media and stuff like that. You need to go and you need to check out my new mixtape, Psychotic Love. It was part of the half of the set that I played at the Barrel last weekend. It was a fun time. I just want to give one shout out to Bailey Earnhardt, who's been working her fucking ass off, fucking doing the promotion and stuff like that. She has a serious opportunity ahead of her to put on for some seriously fucking small underground people and help them grow in this community. And I thank you for putting on that show. It was a hell of a fucking time. Max was there. He'll fucking vouch for that too. Good times. Go check it out. With that, we're going to move on to episode 27. A lot of fucking shit happened this week, but before we get into that, we should probably talk a little bit about what's going on with our old buddy here, Harmeyer. So, recently this week, I've been trying to get a podcast going for a while right now. It was actually going to be me, you, and Max. Max getting back on the podcast for a while. But it was one of those things where, like, the summertime came and, like, or the end of the summer, like, hey, we're partying, got shit to do. And, like, it was like, yo, let's do it this weekend. And then we just ended up not doing it. So, if you kind of want to interrupt here and what?
Yeah, we were going to record.
That was all Spilly.
Yeah, it might have been
that
me.
bitch.
It might have been me. It might have been me. There were
The
a couple.
first time we were going to record, the roof of my kitchen caved in. That was the first time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You
What
didn't
an
tell me that.
excuse
It's
that
been
would be.
The pipes from 1920s
Hey,
just decided to
can't
give
come into
out
work
You know
today.
what's
in my house.
wild? In my mom's house happened the same thing, but it was the basement. So
For real?
all the pipes in the basement.
Started leaking.
This summer,
That's the fucking worst.
she was like, "Max, I need help." No. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like, "Oh my god, somebody's killing my mom." And she was like, "No, it's
worse.
Worse. It's
My
leaking.
pipes are worse.
It's worse.
The pipes are leaking in my basement. I went over there, dude. Like, because you know how like they have like the shut-off valves up
Yeah,
there, you know,
yeah.
like all copper and shit. And it's just old and
Yep.
falling apart.
Got a pinhole.
But yeah, that's funny because that's an excuse like for a movie.
The worst.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I can't go over there. My ceiling fell in.
like really, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's
I mean,
I have photos.
I believe you, man. It doesn't sound like Max really does,
no, I
but
believe you. I'm just saying it's just such a wild thing to
It's
say.
like it is one of those things like, oh, my list of excuses, what would I say?
My roof caved in.
Plumbing
yeah,
issues.
no. I don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to explain yourself on that. I fully understand that. I think.
But yes, yeah. So in general, just the last couple of times that we have recorded, I know it's been probably like 2 months since the last time we
Yeah.
actually recorded an episode. But yeah, I have just had no interest or like any time that Keith was trying to reschedule, I was like, I'll do it. But it was more like a reluctancy too. I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not that interested anymore. Nothing in particular. It was just like, I don't know, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit
And-
on my couch or
and
bet
what-
football, basketball, whatever, baseball. Yeah.
Right, and one issue that we've had is just finding a schedule that really works. I mean, even this week when I announced that you weren't going to be a part, like a main face. Don't get me wrong, all three of these people actually are probably going to be like semi-regular on it. Yeah, I would like to sub out all three of you for like just if I need someone in here and stuff like that. All three of you will be doing that, but it was one of those things where like when you're working with other people and like they're the other face of it, it's really hard to get a schedule together and like find time to actually do it because you always want to do it during the week. And like I usually want to do it on the weekends when you're doing other stuff and stuff like that. So in the future, I think this is probably actually going to be a good move for the podcast because I am like the legwork behind it. I do all the finding all the people. I do the video and audio work and shit like that.
Billy plugging himself.
Well, I mean, I mean, as
It was a mixtape.
Like, I do
sure.
everything here, you know, like I do the legwork.
I mean, I don't do everything.
Really, I don't
Definitely,
No,
like
it sounded really braggy, but
Can I
he's
get
right.
My
I
bad.
show-
I really don't
I-
know.
But-
I
but it-
genuinely, he's right.
but-
I show
No,
up.
he is.
I show up and I say my jokes. And
Yeah,
I barely
I was
pay
like-
attention, and yeah.
what?
Talent.
What are you
looking-
telling?
what are we-
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at.
I was
his
like, what are
thing.
we all pointing for?
Yeah,
I
no.
just
It's
pointed
sweatpants
and I
season,
didn't know what we were pointing for.
Let's
I'm
get
just
back.
like
on,
something over
let's
there.
get back on track here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Everybody's sort of pointing.
There ain't
I
no
just
trash
got in on
on
it. But I don't even know what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
no, it's
oh,
just-
Keith actually does do all the work. He does the producing. He gets it up on Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
So-
I genuinely just come here, sit in the chair, and I'm like, all right, let's turn these things on. And
Yeah.
I'll
So-
try to crack a couple jokes in here.
Yeah, so in the future, I think that will definitely be a benefit, and I think that if I can rotate the three of these guys out and some new faces that I got planned, I've been hitting people up this week, seeing if they want to do it. I think that it's going to be good for a schedule for sure. I definitely think that we're going to be losing out on a fucking huge personality because you do keep the momentum going into things. It's one of those things where like there's been a couple times in our podcast and stuff like that where like it kind of like drops and no one's talking type thing, but you immediately just hop back on it and get us back into the conversation. So definitely something to be aware of in the future. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future and see what we got here. I think that this is it's a good move.
You can have sound bites of me when it gets quiet that you can just add in. And it's just me bringing up a topic.
This is where Harmeyer
going on,
usually
guy?
talks.
Yes.
We just,
Hi.
dude, I do need the soundbite. What's going on, guy? Like that's
on,
like
guy?
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
What's going on, guy?
Yeah.
Like,
That
that's
should be your
Harmeyer.
sub-
in a
That sounds
nutshell.
like a really good like Twitch like donation thing. Yeah, a good sub
Just
alert.
think of the
going on, guy?
whitest Midwesterner you can think of.
Howdy ho, neighbor.
Yes, just yeah. That's all I am.
You're,
Hi.
you're just Wilson.
Yeah.
Just hiding behind the fence. Nobody ever
Yes.
sees you.
He's not a volleyball.
You know what? how about we move into your topics, guy?
Okay. Yeah, so moving on into the first topic that we got on hand, I think that it's kind of the big one. Stolzy and said that his girlfriend has been following this for a while, but it's the
Petito.
Petito, Gabby Petito case or whatever, where this guy allegedly murdered his girlfriend, and there's all kinds of shit going on with it. If you kind of want to like lead up the story, I think that you might have the better understanding of what's going on.
So like so they're out on a hike, right? I don't exactly know which one, like what park or anything like that.
Yeah, they had a travel YouTube channel, didn't they?
Yeah, so they quit their jobs and they started like vlogging. Like that was going to be like their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they get pulled over by some cops. Both of them do. There's video of it where I guess they were like swerving, hit a curb or something like that. A cop saw them, pulled them over, and they're both fucking off their rockers. Like they're both just got done fighting, just got done screaming at each other.
They fucked up drunk.
No, they were sober. It was the middle of the day.
What?
It's just a toxic ass relationship, apparently.
Yeah,
So that's what all of her friends were saying.
Yeah.
So she, I guess, one of them had scratches all over their arms, but the other one did not. They just got into a big fight, and then all of a sudden, Gabby's missing. Brian comes home.
Yeah.
Brian comes home. His parents don't say anything. Brian leaves.
Didn't that motherfucker like disappear or die or some shit like that?
So they just found his remains like 2 days ago.
Yeah, there was a whole situation where like correct me if I'm wrong, but like there was a guy who had seen them at a bar. There's a bunch of like sightings of them when they're touring around the West and going to all these national parks and stuff like that. There's like a couple people who witnessed like some like not necessarily domestic violence, but some like rowdy yelling at each other and stuff like that. And like they've been seen. And at one point, like the cops pulled him over in her van because it was her van, and like she wasn't there. And that kind of had raised some suspicions of what was going on. And I know there was a thing with the Instagram account of hers that what
color was the van?
Classically white.
Definitely. If it's a white van,
It was like
you
one of
gotta
those.
pull over.
It was like one of those.
I thought it was red.
photography vans, like one of those little mini.
Pretty much
transit vans.
driving
Transit van?
around.
Oh, you definitely pulled over a transit van.
Yeah, but
Driving
there was
guilt
some
on
speculation from her family on like her Instagram that they weren't sure if like she was the one texting them from her phone and posting on her Instagram and stuff like that. So they don't know necessarily when all that went down, but he got pulled over without her and then returned to his house. Excuse me, and then disappeared. And that has been the case that has blown up on like all media outlets and stuff like that. Them looking for him after he left his parents' house and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
Well,
good.
yeah. Well, earlier this week, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, after they had been searching just all around the country for this guy, Dog the Bounty Hunter apparently had fucking sources that he was in Appalachia and stuff like that, like the Appalachian Mountains, and he knew that territory really well. Very well traveled man who has seen a lot of the country and could realistically hide anywhere.
What, the dog?
No, the
Brian.
kid.
Nobody can hide from dogs.
No, nobody.
Yeah,
Unless they're dead.
but anyway, so what happened was they finally opened up this park in their local county of Florida, right? Yeah, they finally opened up this park and stuff like that, and within like 30 minutes of them opening up, his parents find his car in a lake, right, with his remains in it.
They found the car originally like where the original murder was. So I'm not even positive if it was in Florida or if it's the original park from the original murder and everything like that.
Okay.
So they said that they found like a book bag and a couple of other personal items in an area that was previously underwater, and that the stuff was underwater for at least a month. So I'm watching last night, and they're interviewing his attorney, and the first thing they bring up is that their attorney has known Brian and his family since Brian was a knee high.
Can you give me just like, is Gabby back in the picture, or is she still lost?
She's
gone.
dead.
They found her remains.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
She's dead. So that's when everything started being weird, was because he had already came home, obviously talked to his parents, and left. Parents didn't say anything. Now, if you ask me, if my kid comes home and the girlfriend that he was just with is gone, dude, we gotta talk. We gotta have a conversation about something. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do? Did you do something? Do I need to help you? You know, do I need to help you prove your innocence, or do I need to fucking turn you in? Like, there's no.
No, on some real shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no in between. Like, cause I'm not getting involved in this. Like, you share my last name. Like, you fuck this up,
But
not
you know
me.
that parent love.
I get it.
Yeah,
is
that
a
parent
lot.
love, and he's a father too. So
I get
like,
it.
You know,
you
that parent
understand.
love
Yeah.
is
I
wild.
mean, I get it, but there's still got to
weird
be
decision that would be.
it's still got to
I
be an
know, right?
accountability.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
There's gotta be
true.
accountability.
I mean,
I get
Because-
it, but yeah.
Because they're not talking to Gabby's parents. The parents aren't. Neither parents are talking. Gabby's parents are convinced that Brian's parents know something. Where he went, what he did, something. They're convinced. So they're talking to the lawyer. What was that? Thursday night?
This Thursday?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it was Thursday. Yeah. So the lawyer, right after they find Brian's remains, gets on the news, and they're saying like, "Oh, well, yeah, I've known Brian since he was a little knee high. Like I've known Brian his whole life. I'm friends with his dad." And the entire time he's sitting there ducking all these questions, kept saying, "It's not the time for this. It's not the time for that." Like, dude,
Being
he's
a
dead.
lawyer.
She's
Lawyer
dead.
shit.
Being
Yeah.
a lawyer.
Right, for sure. But he's dead. She's dead. There is no better time. Like
Yeah.
as far as we're concerned, it looks like the case is closed.
So
right?
break this shit
Yeah.
out.
So let's go. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. So he keeps saying like, "Nah, now's not the time. Now's not the time." And they started asking like, "Does Brian's parents know anything about this?" And he went off. Like started cussing on TV. They had to bleep him out. He kept saying over and over again, like the parents, you can't talk about the parents, can't
So
do
he
this.
lost all composure.
Exactly. He lost
Oh.
all composure. He was ducking questions left and right. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, dude, he's buddies with his dad. Like, there's
It's gonna be I mean
There's-
Much of an
there's
emotional
conversations
attachment
being
here,
happened.
Right.
Yeah.
and he's saying that he hasn't
But
talked
isn't
to
that
Brian.
like a conflict of conflict?
Conflict
of
interest.
of interest.
Yeah.
If
I agree.
this is like a person
Yeah, well-
that you've known and you're going to
Yes.
represent them. I mean, there's
Well,
always
here's-
going to be that emotional.
Here's the
attachment.
thing about it. After
to the
everything was like
relationship.
said and done and stuff like that, the lawyer actually came out and said, "I haven't been in contact with him since he left his parents' house."
September 13th.
So it's been a whole month when he left that no one has been in contact.
And there was activity on Gabby's Instagram post September 13th. Because there was, I think somebody was like following him on TikTok or something like that. And like Gabby's Instagram followers went up. So like somebody was on there using it, unfollowing people, following people, whatever. And like Spilly said, that Gabby's parents don't think that it was Gabby texting them the entire time.
Oh.
They think it was Brian texting him,
And then-
texting them off of her
Yeah.
phone, trying to like throw him off the scent of anything being wrong.
You know,
so
like,
no. So what it seems like, or what the situation is made out to seem like, is that he came back, realized that he was going to get caught for murdering his girlfriend, and then he ended up going to his favorite park or whatever,
fuck
and
moment.
fucking offing himself. Now, if you ask me, you start to get into this, like some conspiracy type shit here. Like, was that really what was happening, or is
Right.
there some outside source that is controlling all this?
And that's what the
bullshit?
lawyer was getting mad about, because there's a lot of people that are accusing the parents since they went back out there the day that it opened up, and all of a sudden they find them real quick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there saying that the parents went out there and planted stuff, or they manipulated evidence, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And that's where the attorney started going off his rocker. He's like, these conspiracy theories have got to stop. It was every single time like the parents got brought up. He was like saying like he was getting angry, saying like these parents are innocent, this, that, and the other. And it's like, dude,
And when you're friends with the fucking father, it's like there's some serious questions that need to be asked.
that's true. Or
I mean, I agree with what you guys say, but there's always that turn where you're trying to be.
he's still a lawyer.
You're trying to be the representative of this family, and in all actuality, what happened to her has nothing to do with the parents.
Right.
And then there's probably some like weird way that he's trying to explain that this.
Yeah, there's definitely a point where
You know,
everybody
it-
just gets mad at the conspiracy.
Yeah, it's
things,
like,
or,
well,
maybe
shit.
he just fucking killed her and nobody else knew about it.
Yeah, but the
and that's-
parents have nothing to do with it.
Right, right,
But
right.
but again, I don't know. I'm not a fucking lawman.
Right. I mean, there's no way for us to know.
But
Right.
that actually yesterday I was having lunch with my mom and my girlfriend, and they were talking about it, but I didn't know exactly like how it all went down. They knew, so I was just sitting there with two ladies, not knowing what the fuck was going on.
Right.
Welcome to.
That's the way I've been with pretty much the entire situation.
Welcome to life.
To be honest with you, man, I've been hearing about this story over and over on social
Yeah,
media,
but I
and
didn't necessarily-
I'm like, why is this like fucking Ted Bundy fucking broke out of jail twice, and on the second time he broke out, just ran through fucking a sorority. Like when you're talking about like murderers and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
that's something that should have high attention news. But now that they found the bodies, like 30 minutes, his parents found it like 30 minutes. That's when I was like, okay, now this is kind of getting interesting.
Yeah.
But see, like what that struck like a thing in me because Jonathan Corwin was a good friend of mine. We served in the Marine Corps, and he was on Dateline and all that shit. His wife, I mean, it's on Dateline, so I'm not saying anything that
Right.
hasn't been said, right?
Yeah.
But here's my buddy. When I got to the Marine Corps, he was there for like a year before me, something like that, and he had this wife. Her name was Erin Corwin, young girl. There was an affair with some other guy from the unit 311, like where we stayed, and this, that, and the other. We went to Japan. He stayed back, and all of a sudden, I'm at the 7-Day store in Okinawa, Japan, buying some beers. We about to hang out on the weekend. I see People magazine, and it's Corwin on the magazine. I swear to God, I'm not fucking lying. It's the weirdest shit. Like when you see your friend,
fucking weird.
dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm looking because it's right there by the checkout to have all the magazines.
I'm
right?
currently serving with this man.
I'm like,
I know where he is.
I mean, I knew the guy. He wasn't with us on our UDP, right?
Right.
But I look over. I was like, that's Corwin, because of course I'm with one of my friends, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, shit, what happened? So that struck that thought in me because she had an affair. They fucking figured out that that it happened, but they went to counseling. Everything was okay. She got pregnant by the lover. This and that. Blah, blah, blah.
Typical military shit.
Very typical. Very typical. Besides the murder, that's not very typical.
Yeah, no, the murder. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, right. So, she talked to this guy, and she apparently, and hey, Corwin, sorry, dog, but this is the way it went. Again, it was on Dateline. So, he was there. They went to go to Yucca Valley. It was the park there. Was it Joshua Tree? Joshua Tree.
Sounds right.
Yeah, Joshua Tree
Sounds
National
familiar.
Park, right there by 29 Palms.
Yeah. I've heard Joshua Tree before.
Yeah, it's a big park out in there in the desert, right? And they were gonna talk it out, like, hey, maybe we can, be together. We don't have to deal with this guy that was my friend. Da da da. Okay, cool. Well, they go for a walk. He chokes her to death with a karate, throws her down a mine shaft, tries to fucking burn her. It didn't catch fire, and then there was this huge search for Erin Corwin. And I think it was like in the last 2 days that the search was going on, because the search was going on for like a month, and they couldn't find her, right? So the last day, or last couple days, I can't remember exactly what it was, because, it was some years ago. Right. But it was like toward the end of the search and rescue, they found her. She's down there in the mine shaft, and she's pregnant, right? Dude had EAS'd from the Marine Corps and dipped to fucking Alaska. They went to go get that motherfucker, though.
Of course.
Well, but man, like there's some shit like people die and people don't go get that motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
and that happens a lot.
Boys are like fucking Alaska. Are you kidding me? That's
Yeah, but
awesome.
it's not the military
Got
though,
dinner
because
with my wife.
when the
No,
military is involved with it,
no.
they're gonna,
NCIS and everything. It was like the whole like
shebang.
like the whole shebang. All the agencies, the military with civilian and all this stuff. And yeah, but that's what, when they were talking about that yesterday, it kind of brought that to mind. And I was like, shit, like I actually know a guy that maybe it's not like this.
Right. Sometimes it is that simple.
But it, like me knowing a person that like that, because it was like, well, did Jonathan Corwin do it? Because the first person that they're gonna
the husband.
is
accuse
the husband.
or at least
he has
not
he has
necessarily
motive.
accuse,
He has
but look
motive.
into.
He's always gonna be first.
Yeah, and after all of this, like, well, he knew that it was a affair, and he knew that the child wasn't his, and then this and yeah. So I mean, he looks
here's
like
the reason.
Yeah,
why
he
looks-
has motive. That's
Yeah,
why. Yeah,
but,
that's why
I
he's
mean,
top of the list.
and honestly, like when we got back from our UDP, we were talking. I was like, man, we were on the Corwin. Like, what do you say though? Because I mean, it had
That's
been
facts.
no, but really though, like because it had been solved by the time we got back, and I was like, you see him, like, what do you say, like, hey, how you doing, dude? Like,
It's like,
No,
really?
you just put it out there.
like, hey,
Put it out there.
how's life, buddy? Like, no,
See, that
I saw
would
you on
be-
TV, man.
See, that would be my problem 100%.
Right? I'm the type of guy that see him. I'm like, yo, be real with me, man. Did you
Yeah.
murder your pregnant wife?
No, but I'm
Let's
just saying,
air this out.
no, I mean that had already been solved,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
but it's just like when you run into a friend,
Right.
and you know that all the shit that he went through, and like all of this fucking, you know, like on the bad side of shit, and then on the good side of shit, and then like losing a wife and losing a child and this, that, and the other because he's gonna take it as hit. And then like you can't just run into somebody like when the whole country knows, you can't just go up and be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Like, really? I would be
how I'm doing.
I would be pissed if it were me.
I will actually murder somebody in this conversation right here. Yeah, that would be my problem.
But I'm sorry, I took that one to. But
no,
you know,
I mean it was
relatable.
a completely relevant story. It matched up. I think one thing that does need to be said about the Brian Laundrie, or however you say his last name, story is. Now I don't know much about this, but one of my friends, Hunter Wee-Woo, he was talking about the situation. His name. He introduced himself to Bailey and them as Wee Woo, but his name's Hunter. So I don't know. It's very it's Fed vibes, Patrick. Dude. Like, why's your name Wee Woo?
I just like my mind immediately
Fed
goes,
vibes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mind immediately goes to SpongeBob when Patrick's like Wee Woo, Wee Woo, Wee Woo.
Yes.
Yeah, but
that was when they were trying to catch
there was a lot of
and it was SpongeBob.
He had said some very interesting things about it, and Grant, I don't know if this is true or not, but he had said that apparently if you watch like the videos and a lot of stuff that had added up to this situation, a lot of the domestic abuse and stuff had come from her end of it, and a lot of people just were not talking about it at the time. Now, the dude allegedly murdered his girlfriend and stuff like that, so yeah, he's kind of in the wrong in this one, but it kind of makes you wonder like what things lead up to situations like this, and that's why that situation was relevant too. Like he cheated on she cheated on his husband, had a baby with someone else. It's like I can see why you might want to light your bitch on fire and throw it down the fucking mine.
But you know, the thing about it is like sometimes like we judge it from the standpoint of reasoning, right?
Yeah.
Because we're removed from the situation.
Right? Exactly.
So when you're, you know, enthralled in the situation, you're a part of it. Like you are, like the mindset that you have is a lot more narrow. You know, it must have been scary. Like even if you're not at fault, but you know,
but it looks like,
but you know for a fact that that's me. Right. You know, like if everything led to something, you know that's going to be you. Like that feeling of, I don't know. It would probably be like desperation. Like it would be. I mean, terror.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can't know until you're in the situation.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and I mean,
and I hope that I
hopefully never that.
I hope I'm never in that situation at all.
Yeah, but like to the domestic violence stuff, like when I was in the Corps, like sometimes because you know I had friends that were married and shit like that. There were you know
you've told me some stories about the shit in the Marine Corps.
But I mean, like sometimes, man, like you know this woman, you know this guy throughout their whole relationship. Yeah. And I'm not saying that guys aren't abusive, and I'm not saying that women aren't abusive, but there were some times where it's you're at this party, right, at their house. You're not at the barracks, you're at base housing, right? You're sitting there with homie and old girl and all the friends. Mm-hmm. And she's losing her mind, and she's hitting people, and she's doing this, and she's just treating people bad, you know? And then dude will be like, hey, you need to calm the fuck down, and then all of a sudden the cops are there, and then he's the one that is, and again, I am not condoning any type of fucking yelling at women or fucking hitting women or fucking this, that, and the other, but there are those situations that I have seen where they're starting a big problem, and then when this guy is like, hey, you need to calm down, that's what you want to do?
Yeah. Why'd you cuss at me? Bitch, you just hit me 20 times.
I'm gonna call PMO.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing, I don't know if a lot of people know, in the military, it's not like this on paper, but this is how it is in actuality. You are guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
Out here, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. So it's really hard. And I've seen a lot of fucking guys lose their jobs, lose their billets, fucking get kicked out because there was this lady that wasn't about it. Again, you know, you're fucking 19. You really don't want to be there, but, you know, this was your way out of your fucking house in fucking, I don't know, Iowa. You know, now you're around a fucking whole bunch of fucking guys that, you know.
Dudes in a barrack fucking bunked up with people.
Well, no, I mean, like, just
just
no,
around
in
Marines.
base
Well,
housing,
that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why a lot of these guys end up getting into the relationships or marrying people, so they can get out of the barracks
Correct.
away from all the
And
dudes.
so
and
so
fucking-
it's not necessarily like this long-lasting love or this this thing that you can say is worth it. It's I want to get out of the barracks. Will you marry me?
Right.
Bet. You know,
Right.
like it's a contract marriage, and then
yeah. And
problem
then
is with a contract marriage.
then you get
and-
shipped off, and she takes your truck and.
Bro,
You're a country song.
I'm not going to say his name because this was not on Dateline. So, so we got back from one of our deployments, right? And
Thank you.
old dude goes home, nothing in there. She bought a truck with his money. The truck ain't there. The couch ain't there. Nothing is there. He comes back to my room. Right? Hey dude, like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Everything's I can't get her on the phone. Her parents aren't fucking answering me. Like she disappeared with all of my shit. And she took the dog.
Oh, you don't take the dog.
Bro, I'm telling you this motherfucker. She took the dog. I've never seen somebody so like fucking the Punisher type shit. He was good. Some John Wick shit. I was like, no. She took my fucking dog. It's the only thing I fucking. And honestly, hey, sorry guy, you know who I'm talking about, but you don't know.
I've heard this story before.
But you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
You can't just go killing people because you took the dog.
Right.
I mean, but you gotta understand, like, when
that's why the question was raised by me in the thing. It's like, yeah, all this shit happened, but we might want to ask a little bit more questions about the other side of the situation as well.
Yeah, there's
a
lot of shit.
It's
that
not
happens,
justifiable in any way to
No.
fucking kill your significant other because she wronged you or fucking he
Or to-
wronged you
or
or
to
did
touch them
anything.
or to
But
fucking treat
it's
them
one
wrong.
of the, yeah, it's just one of those things where things are a lot more complicated, and I think that fucking us from the outside perspective, we really don't know all the things that gone into it and all the things that will be fucking released here in the future. So it's one of those things we just gotta play day by day and see what happens.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. Like you just never know what you're gonna run into, and like it can be any fucking day, man. Like just sometimes you just are in that situation, and it's like, oh shit.
Sometimes you could just be like,
here.
You know?
sometimes you could just be filming a movie and fucking accidentally shoot someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Wow, that was a good
apparently-
segue. Well, it's kind of shitty because I like to do shitty segues. But
Yeah, I know, dude. Every time we do
already
a
taking
good,
good steps.
every time we do a good segue, it's like, oh, good segue, and then we get completely off the topic that we. Yeah, so we're
Speaking
really,
of pancakes, Baldwin shot two people.
yeah, we're really good.
pee-pee.
But yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, earlier this week, actually, I think this was yesterday
I think it
or
was
Thursday. You have to, the latch to keep it closed.
Fucking dungeon in here.
That's the way I like
Hey,
it.
if I
dude.
disappear, this is where I'm at.
Call me Brian. But anyway, if you don't know the story, so
Call me Brian.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
tasteless as
What an
always.
off-color joke.
Tasteless as always.
So anyway, it started blasting.
Yeah, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, so Alec Baldwin was shooting a movie called Rust. It was shot in New Mexico, and it was a Western movie. They were apparently, I'm guessing, because I know a little bit about film and stuff like that, they were probably filming a scene where he was like shooting at the camera or whatever. And apparently there were live rounds in the gun, and he ended up shooting and wounding the director and the director of photography on set, and ended up killing the director of photography. And this story has blown up a lot on social media and stuff like that. And when you're looking at like the past scenarios that we've had, where like The Crow, what was his name? Brandon Lee back in the 80s or early 90s, I think it was 90s. Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
I still don't know if that's true, but
It has to be.
it has to be. Max said it.
See, now you just make me look like
But
Somebody Google it right now.
at that
I know it's great.
during the filming of that movie, someone had they were using live rounds and blanks, and apparently
No,
a
they're
live
using
round,
only blanks, but there was a live round.
in
Russian
it.
roulette.
Anyway, the dude got shot and got killed on the movie and stuff like that. And now we're looking at it here fucking 30 years later, and we're like, why the fuck are we still even having live rounds anywhere around fucking the situation of shooting a movie? Now, if you're looking into it too, I actually read something today. It was this article was released about 3-4 hours ago. Okay, so it was Bruce Lee's son.
We had to prove a point from earlier.
It was Bruce Lee's son.
Bruce Lee's son, the one that we were talking about.
Anyway, I had seen this article earlier today. It was released about 3 or 4 hours ago. Because no one was releasing any statements about the situation until this morning. Apparently, what had happened was like 6 or 7 of the crew that were like cameramen and stuff like that had decided to leave the set of the film because of hazardous work conditions. Like it was so bad that they had
like
to get
live rounds
they had,
in a fucking.
Was it
well,
before or
they
after
didn't.
the
They
accident?
didn't say anything. They didn't say anything about that. That might have been one of the reasons why. I think they're still kind of in that stage where they're like trying to withhold information so it doesn't look as bad as it really is.
Somebody lying.
But yeah,
It's Hollywood.
Yeah, it's Hollywood. Any number of things.
Shot the camera guy.
Any number of things could happen, but they're starting to talk about like the bad, shitty work
Maybe
conditions that have
reason.
happened. And apparently, those people walked off set, and they just brought in like 6 new people. And for some reason, that might have been a reason why fucking live rounds were being shot on the fucking.
So wait,
set.
is this before or after the shooting happened?
This was before the shooting happened.
Oh, okay. I thought this was after the shooting. I'm like,
No.
well, it's not clean toilets.
No.
He shot the guy in the
No,
movie.
they had left because of hazardous work conditions, and they ended up bringing in a whole new team.
Yes, okay. I thought you were talking after the fact. People left because of hazardous conditions. I'm like, well, isn't it obvious?
It's not a
But
hazard
before-
anymore.
Okay, yeah. But before that makes a ton of sense.
But
The
doesn't-
prop guy's got to feel like
It
a
doesn't
real
make sense though. Like there's
jackass.
so much editing.
But
You don't even got to pull a trigger.
No. I mean, you do
You
have to
know?
pull the trigger
Well,
for the effect, but there's blank rounds. If you've ever seen fucking rounds that go in blank, I don't know what type of weapon it was, but if it was a rifle,
I think it was just a handgun.
Well, it was a Western, so I'm guessing some type of like fucking lever action shotgun
but
or fucking pistol.
they're usually crimped at the top. You know what I mean? There's
Okay.
no actually the ball because they're called ball rounds, like the actual live ammunition. They're crimped at the top, right?
It's good
so
to
when
have
you
Max
shoot,
on this one because I had no idea about any of this.
so they're crimped and there's no ball in it. So when it shoot, it just opens and it lets all the powder out, and it gives you
The sound.
The
same
sense,
effect
the flash,
without
and
the projectile.
Yeah.
So, who in the fuck is sneaking bullets into fucking prop guns?
Yes,
Right.
That guy needs to be in jail.
That's what I was saying.
If you look at if
Now,
you
don't
look
get me wrong. With a blank round, if you're close enough,
if you look
you
into
can
it,
kill somebody.
if you look into it and you think about some of the like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, back in the 90s with the Crow and stuff like that, they think that might have been planned.
Correct.
So,
I mean, it's just so
now
hard.
that things have been released, that
I
this
really want to kill somebody.
Yeah, like, oh wait, hold on.
Like, how can I
but you
do
know that's
that?
like a sick
how can
game.
I do that and get away
But-
with
but-
it?
but-
Hey, man, stay
It's like,
woke.
look, I'm a hardcore leftist that does super against guns and everything like that, but I kind of want to shoot somebody.
You
and I work on a film set.
I would usually not agree with that, but for the sake of the fucking because it's true. Like you could be that guy that is so against guns that I'm gonna
portray the image.
I'm gonna show you a fucking lesson, dude.
Yeah.
You
And
play
with-
with guns, you
and
die.
with everything
I mean, how
that
many
you just,
times-
and listen,
I mean,
dude, with
I mean,
everything that's going on in the
no,
fucking world right now.
that's very
in the
out
big
there.
time conspiracy, like whoa,
Man,
this
I'll
could
tell you
be
what.
the deepest thought.
Well,
Yeah,
they-
technically, I guess
they were
it
doing
does
that-
work.
Well, look at
They were doing that
just
with
the,
Vegas,
Yeah, look
where
at
they
the
were
way
like-
look at the way society just is right now. I mean, it's no fucking secret. Shit is fucking weird right now. Like you go into convenience stores and fucking they don't have Gatorade. Fucking shit's
What the fuck?
It's true.
It's true.
Wait,
Shit's
Crawling at the
shit's
shot.
getting more expensive.
that society has been brought down
Say
to
anything else.
the
How am I ever gonna beat this
to the
hangover without a
quantity of
Gatorade?
fucking
Nothing
Gatorades
about
at the Family
housing
Dollar.
market, society as a whole is like, you're out of Gatorade.
It was a little. It was a little sneaking joke, bro. It was a little sneaking joke. I didn't expect it to blow up like
I
that.
mean, what
Yeah.
the hell?
How
did you do?
society is fucked up.
Bro,
There's no Gatorades.
get
Yeah, fuck minimum
it's just one of those
wage.
things.
Everything. Just the Gatorade.
Listen. Shit. Dude,
I'm
man,
with you,
there's
Keith.
food shortages. fucking drink shortages. There's people are at each other's throats because of the fucking pandemics and shit like that. Fucking prices are getting raised. And when you're talking about the movement that we have had from a Republican Donald Trump president who was such a fucking had such like a stigma to him and then moved to the complete opposite side with Biden. There's all kinds of shit that's going on in our fucking political system that would make people like, you know what? Maybe I need to fucking plan a fucking live round and a gun so someone can kill someone in a fucking
I don't think that the political fucking environment made somebody put.
We're talking about
a
LA.
bullet.
We're talking about Hollywood.
I know.
It's LA, bro.
No.
I understand your want to make everything a giant conspiracy.
That is
I guess
huge.
Prop guy fucked up. I don't think it's like I want Alec Baldwin.
You guys were the ones that said it.
No,
I was just going with that.
No.
Huh?
No. I said that could be something. I could agree with that.
Right.
But
I was just backing up the statement.
I am not fucking
Fuck
saying
off,
that
Max.
that's the
No,
truth.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
No,
That's
because-
a wild
because
truth.
they're
I never
like,
said it was true.
Like
Never said
even
it was
with
true.
even with like Vegas, like the first conspiracy theory that came out was that
Yeah, bring it back.
you know they're like trying to push an agenda. Like
In
they're
Vegas? Well, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's-
it's Vegas.
well,
yeah.
a lot of these things happen in red states. So you're sitting there with the looser gun laws and everything like that. So a lot of people are saying like, you know, you hire a guy, private contractor, former military guy who's already off his fucking rocker anyway. Pay him, you know, set him up, whatever you gotta do, give him all the guns, give him all the ammo, let him go whack 50 people. See if you can change gun laws.
And that hasn't really proven to work.
No, it hasn't. But-
So now let's
pushing
take a mainstream celebrity and fucking do this on like a set of a film and stuff like that.
I know
And all
we're
of a
still
sudden-
playing the what if game.
But
we're
It is a
talking
what
about
if
it
game.
much.
It is a what if game.
That's a hard what if.
It's a
It
hard
is
what
a-
if.
it is a hard one.
I just want
hard
everybody
what if.
listening to know that this is a massive what if. I think what happened on the set.
No,
was-
what happened
was
is
an
what
accident.
what happened is what happened.
Yes.
The
No,
more
I
likely
think-
thing is that one of the cameramen who fucking decided to quit because of hazardous pay was just like, fuck Alec Baldwin and fuck this director of photography. I'm going to put a live round in the fucking shit. That's probably what actually happened.
I
if
can
I'm being
believe
completely
that
honest.
theory.
I would. I can
believe
that's.
that's no, it's way
believe
more
that one.
believable.
I would
Way more
believe
believable.
that.
because there's some
Let's just
hateful
ruin
motherfuckers
Alec
out
Baldwin's
there.
life.
Yes, that's somebody. Yeah, the person who walked off was just like, "There's not enough hand sanitizer around here. I'm putting live ammo."
I didn't
in
see
the
Alec
bullets
Baldwin
today."
wear a mask
Peace.
once.
Hey,
I love how
Harmeyer
goes. There's not enough hand sanitizer around. They're in the middle of the New Mexico desert.
Well,
He's worried about
they're
fucking
talking
hand
about they're
sanitizer.
talking about hazardous set. You never know. Get the germs out.
God damn it, bro.
Someone's got a bonfire going in the middle of the set. There's like, I don't think that's safe, dude. We're inside.
I'm gonna put 5 rounds in the bullet. I'm gonna prove.
We're
a
in an
point today.
old wooden fucking
In general,
church.
though, prop guy. Wow, does he need to be fired, excommunicated, jail time, everything?
Well, that's the thing.
Send him to Guantanamo.
All of it, like,
Well, that's-
everything that you can think of.
That's the thing about it, because maybe the prop guy was one of the guys who walked off the set for hazardous pay, and they brought in a whole new team. So
that
that's
could be
probably
possible.
that's
Somebody's
it's
at
looking
fault.
now
Yeah,
like
no,
that
no.
is what happened. That's the reason why
Maybe
this
the
happened, because they
director
brought in
was
they
like-
brought in new people.
I would say we can't blame entirely the prop guy,
No, you can't.
right? Because there's sneaky motherfuckers everywhere. You know, there's people that fucking.
I'm not even saying it's sneaky.
And-
It could have been an act.
No. Well,
What if it was like-
you would have to be sneaky to slip a live round. I don't know if it was a live round.
Design
Well, it
suicide.
was a live round. It fucking wounded and
photographer
killed one
actually
person.
No.
the people
Die.
yesterday I did read an article that they thought it was still fragments left
Yeah,
over
'cause they
from
thought
the
it was-
live
really?
round,
Really?
but it was actually a blank, and there were still fragments and pieces.
See, I just don't know
which is
enough
why
about
I
blanks and
guess
stuff
it
like
might have wounded 2 people.
So
because it
the
shot
thing
off.
that
Like
Hollywood
it's like a
needs to
shotgun,
do
like a spray.
Right.
is not have the people make their own blank rounds at home and take them as a prop. Fucking, you know, you buy those blanks from a reputable fucking source.
He was
you
like,
know?
I heard this guy on Your House
Like,
on Rolls talking about crimping the end of live
Right.
rounds. And
I mean,
No, but I mean that's what it looks like.
Right.
I mean,
Also
Right.
crazy.
Bro, I mean,
I
at this
just never
point-
knew they used real guns. I honestly was just under the impression we've been dealing with since
Like
the
an
80s,
airsoft
90s.
gun?
I thought we were
Well, no,
dealing
no.
with just like a
There are prop
nice
guns.
plastic
There,
gun.
there
Prop
are,
guns can shoot, though.
There are prop guns that are like rubber and stuff like that. They look like real guns. I watched a video with Bradley Martin where they went to like one of these things and they were showing them like the John Wick guns and stuff like that. They were fake prop guns made out of rubber and stuff
Right,
like
right.
that. But when you're actually like filming something and want to have like an authentic feel to it, you're going to have live gun or real guns with fucking blanks in them and stuff like that. And maybe if you really want the actual effect with it, you're going to use live rounds and scenes where they're not shooting at people. So that probably could be another reason why the live round got in. They got mixed up at some point. They were using the live rounds instead of the blank rounds.
Right.
And, yeah.
And the whole problem is with notional versus reality is that one should be notional. You know, like
You want a question.
You should be able to say, okay, that's not real, because and everybody, I don't know if everybody knows this, but everybody should know this. Live rounds are not something you fuck with. Weapons are not something you fuck with. If you're not trained to use that weapon, which Alec Baldwin apparently is not, because even if it's a blank round,
Depends where you're shot.
Well, hold on.
No, but
I'm
listen,
sure,
even
if
if it's a
Alec
blank
Baldwin
round.
has had, I'm sure Alec Baldwin has had weapon trainings before going into some of his movie and stuff like that. When you're
Okay,
shooting a movie and you need to fucking get a scene where you're shooting at someone at the camera, and the director of photography and director are obviously going to be behind it, that's probably where the fatality happened. But
check
it's the
this,
mix up of the
homicides.
rounds.
If
I'm
you,
not saying.
but
I don't know, that's reach.
if you understand weapons and how they're fucking supposed to be used, right? If it's a real weapon, even if there's blanks in there, you still don't flag people. You still don't aim at people.
Yep.
You do not do that.
the first
Weapon
thing you're taught.
safety doesn't matter if there's a bullet in the chamber, if there's a mag in the fucking mag well. You do not aim.
You're
that.
right.
It's on
But
safety.
now,
and
You're
you don't
right,
aim
but they're
it.
shooting a movie.
I know they're shooting a movie.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't care if they're shooting a movie.
Or
You
you're
don't
pointing a gun
aim
at
weapons
somebody.
at
Exactly.
people.
Well, you need
You know,
to
that's
get
that's all I'm trying to say.
You need to get that shot. The camera's got to sit in front of the gun that's being shot.
Well, you know
And
who
nobody
caught,
sits
you know
behind the
you know who
camera.
got the shot?
the fucking director, and photography, and the director.
heavens.
That's my point.
Yeah, I know.
You get a shot for a movie, or
I
you get
know,
shot in real life. It's
but-
completely different things.
But you gotta get the
There is
shot.
no respawn.
You know, that's,
There is no respawn.
it's tough that way. But you know,
It is.
Alec Baldwin is a fucking funny guy. I'm sure. I mean, well, not sure, but I'm
sure he
close,
didn't mean
close
to
to
kill
sure
him.
that he didn't mean to fucking kill the fucking guy.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, when you're fucking handling weapons that can kill people, it is your responsibility to make
kill
sure,
people.
No, to make sure you do not kill people.
Well, apparently his like reaction, like after he shot the lady, was like he was just going around the set like yelling, like, "Why would somebody give me a live round? Why would somebody give me a live round?" So
Correct.
obviously, he might not even understand the whole blank situation.
And again,
to the point where he thought he just shot somebody with a real, you know.
And the thing is too, like even when you have a prop weapon or a fucking whatever weapon, you go through those paces of weapon safety,
Right.
right? Your weapon is on fucking safes and the magazine inserted, this, that, and the other, da, da, da. You look at your fucking, you look at your rounds, you make sure that this is okay. Even if they say, oh no, just pull the trigger. No, you don't just pull the trigger.
Right, that's tough.
You make sure that what you're doing is correct.
That would make
I'm
me
not
so
saying I'm not
anxious.
saying that is not an accident, because again, they're Hollywood people. They're not military people.
Right.
They're not fucking country folk. They're not people that
They're
go to the
actors.
fucking.
Yeah.
They're actors.
Right.
They're not people that handle weapons like that. You know what I mean? So, did he mean to do it? No. Is it his fault for doing it? Yes.
A little bit.
In a way, yeah.
You know, because you have to understand.
You gotta have the common sense to say like, this is a stupid scene.
Or you fuck. Or
we gotta figure out a different way to go about
you
it.
Check your shit.
Right.
If I see a live round in a gun, and somebody's waving it around, that's a big no-no.
Right.
I would never do that.
I
If
mean-
I check a weapon, there better not be a fucking round in it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Right.
that's how. And you know this, like as he was saying, which we're not going to give him credit for this, but
Correct.
that's like a big like left and right fucking problem. You know,
Yeah, to me, it became
I
political.
understand fucking the right side, like the you know the Republican / red / far right, whatever.
Right, right.
I understand. Okay, hey, we can have weapons. It's in the fucking Constitution, this, that, and the other. But I do believe that if you're not that type of person that can make sure that you're safe with this weapon, that you use it as a tool,
Correct.
not as an accident fucking.
Right.
You know, an accident.
Waving it
that-
around.
Showing it off and it
You
goes
know,
off.
then yeah, you know, so that's where like people differ in this country. I think a lot.
Yes, there was definitely a lot on social media yesterday.
Yeah.
Mostly, people on left being like, this is why we shouldn't have guns anywhere.
Because I
And
am a
then
gun
people-
fan. Don't get me
Right,
wrong.
right.
But
And
I
then-
do understand where people come from.
Right, and then people on the right saying just like you, where it's like, well, if we learn gun safety
Correct.
properly, then this would have never happened. So
Right.
it's like it will never.
No.
not be, it can't just be like an accident that happened.
Well, I mean,
it's
like,
always like a political thing.
when
at
I was
this
like
point now.
when I was like 8 years old, I got a BB gun. First thing my dad said, if you have BBs in it, you point it at the ground, it's on safety. You do not point it at somebody else. Now, with that being said, Noah did shoot me in the back of the head with a BB gun. I never shot anybody.
I didn't.
I went through the proper training course, and I know how to handle it. So it's like we just keep going back to it. It's just like simple education, and
Yeah, because I mean, and those things, like like
Right.
I don't know if you're a weapon enthusiast or anything like that, but it's.
Hardwire?
I guess I'm in the middle.
You
I've
fucking
shot
kid.
guns.
he's
but-
played Call of
Yeah,
Duty
but,
before.
I mean, I'm just saying, maybe not an
Badly.
enthusiast, but like
Oh, I'm terrible at video games.
maybe you understand the.
Yes, I
the
understand.
mechanics and like how to
I understand
properly
the rules of handling a gun.
But there's a
That
lot of
makes
people
sense.
that don't.
Right.
A lot of people think that it is Hollywood. That you grab a gun, you point it, and then, I'm at the Oscars tomorrow. Like, no, nigga, you get shot in real life, you're dead.
Yep.
Or hurt.
Right.
And
Yeah, as much of I don't have any guns, but yeah, I definitely understand the I'm just not gonna point it at you because I am too anxious of a person. If there's something in there, I don't know how to do anything with it, so I'm just gonna set this down here.
Right.
Somebody else figure all this shit out. So, but I
Yeah.
don't,
It's just one of those things where we need to have more. I mean, depending on which side you are on, I'm one of the people who thinks that we need to have more gun safety not laws, gun safety training rather than laws.
I can agree with that.
And it's something
I
that
can
we
agree
need to
with-
look at. For Brandon Lee to get shot back in the 90s and fucking have this whole scenario
still
happen,
happens
and for it
again.
to happen 30 years later is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's fucking, it's incredibly sad, and it's a sorrowful fucking story. Prayers to the family that actually lost their wife, sister, daughter, whatever it is.
Yeah. And
I did
to
read
the
that
family that the person that got wounded because like
Yeah.
And the Baldwins. And the Baldwins, because I doubt Alec Baldwin meant
sucks.
yeah, so for their family, I give my heart out to the family, but I do think, and this might be like harsh of me to say, but I do think that if you have a weapon in your hand,
You are responsible. For
you
that
are
weapon.
responsible for that weapon.
You
No
are
matter
responsible
if you
for that.
meant to do it or
Absolutely.
not, that is your responsibility.
I agree.
It fucking sucks, but I would hold any of my Marines fucking accountable for that. I will
Right.
definitely hold some fucking guy that makes millions of dollars on fucking television for it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody handed
Especially
me
if he's had a
and
gun
told
scene
me
before.
it was fake, or told me it was not, it was going to be shooting blanks, and I shot somebody, I would be like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
it's
could've
a
checked-
horrible thing.
No,
I
it's a
could have checked the
mess, yeah.
magazine.
It's a
I
horrible
could've-
thing to hold on to yourself,
Yes.
but at the end of the day, you pulled the trigger.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Now, with that
And
being
he's
said,
got to live with that.
With that being
Yeah,
said,
no
I
rest.
did see that Baldwin already reached out to that lady's husband, the one that passed away, and he's trying to be, as supportive as possible, obviously, but he's saying like, whatever you need, dude, like whatever you need, I got you. Like this, this
And,
sucks.
and like you
does.
never
It is
and
a
you
very
never
shitty
know about
situation all around.
this fucking Hollywood shit. I mean, I don't know them. I know that they are people, but they're not people.
Yeah,
that,
they're lizards.
that we can fucking actually get with. So it's like, are you fucking being nice because that'll get you out of fucking the problem? Maybe a little settlement on the hush hush,
Right.
Or is it that you actually care? That's the problem with when people have that type of money and that type of clout. That
They
type
can
of
make shit
fucking,
go away.
They can make shit go away,
Yeah,
and
make
I
shit go
don't
away.
want that to
And-
go away just because.
And big
he is
move,
that guy.
yeah, and
You know what I
big move for him to stick up for the family and be there for them.
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, anyway, speaking of family, this shit that's going on with Australia and fucking Facebook. There's the transition that we. There's the transition that
You got
we need
family
right
in
there.
Australia, bro?
My girlfriend
There's that
does.
transition
My
we
girlfriend
need.
does.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
shit transition.
You should, have you been? Have you been to visit?
She's been. So like right when we first started dating, like the first 2 weeks, she went over there. But her parents just moved to Mexico, so I'm pretty sure
Nice.
that's where we'll be probably getting married and shit like that down in Cozumel.
Oh, in Cozumel.
That's where they moved.
Oh.
Yeah, living
they
like
got
fucking
money.
kings,
They
dude.
got money.
Listen,
I haven't- dude,
Listen to fucking Stolzy talking about marriage.
Every
over here.
single,
What's going
every
on over
single
there, bro? You got
thing I see
plans?
her
First
post on
announced here.
Facebook.
Got plans?
Not yet.
Right.
Not
You
yet.
better propose on this podcast.
Yeah, but they're
No,
not here.
don't do that. No, that'd
Babe.
be, no.
Babe.
Don't do that.
With
I love you, baby.
basketball
Will you
jerseys
marry
in the
me?
background, just as she always dreamed.
Yeah.
You'll see this in 2 days, but I'm proposing right now.
But yeah, like,
That'd be awesome.
I don't think I've seen them go to the, like, everything they post on Facebook is them at a restaurant. Like, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like, I don't know if they even go to the fucking store and buy, like, normal food. Because everything is so cheap down there, they can just, like, go out to eat at some
It
crazy
just depends.
restaurant.
It depends where you go in Mexico. Like there's places. For you guys that don't know, I grew up in Mexico. I was down there for like 10 years. You know, from all my formative years, like 9 to 19, something like that. Yeah, some shit like that. So there's places where, yeah, I mean, shit. You got fucking some green dollars in your fucking pocket. You make shit happen. You go to some places, your money isn't anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You go to fucking like places in like Querétaro and Guadalajara or something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, this house down here, like, that's nice. That's 1.2 mil. Okay, well that's like 120,000.
20 million pesos.
But
$100
but
like 1,200
no,
pesos, I think.
But guess what? In those places, it says USD after the number.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. So I mean,
Bastards.
there's places where you can be okay here. You're not gonna make it down there.
It's
And there's-
Guadalajara. They gotta funnel that money somehow. I mean,
and Mexico's a beautiful place. I love it. There's there's everything from deserts to forests to fucking
Mountains
lakes
of flowers.
Yeah, just everything. It's a very beautiful place. Now, the fucking climate there right now, like political and like civil climate, is rather hot. rather
Alec Baldwin.
yeah, just like times like 1,000.
Just not accidental.
Yeah, not accidental. But
So they're just shooting each other.
but yeah, so you're
I'm gonna love watching this one back.
They're running around in fucking Tacomas with machine guns mounted to them, which they are.
No, yes.
Which they are, yeah.
I mean, it's a wild place, but that to me, that's my home.
You should tell them the story of you with the Tacomas, fucking with the pool game, Chris.
Oh, they were Frontiers.
Oh, Frontiers.
Well, but yes, white trucks.
Nissans.
So we're playing pool, right? There's this like this pool joint next to our house.
We'll get back to Australia.
Yeah,
and the
we'll
social
get there in
media
a second. Let me tell you guys a story real quick. A place called La Ceja in Huimilpan in Querétaro. The Sticks,
I
right?
love how you say words.
Love how you speak Spanish.
I love it. I love the little thing. To the
You're
words.
good at that Mexican talk.
You right there, boy. That good. That's a good talk right there.
So my brother went to school in the city. I went to school in the town, right? He was smarter than me. He still is, right? He fucking went over there, and when he would skip school, he would go to the pool hall, right? So I think he skipped school often. So he got really good at
He's
it.
pretty good at pool. Yeah, he's pretty good at pool.
Chris is getting a great introduction to your house rules right now.
Oh no, great guy. He'll
This is the
probably.
pool guy.
You should get him on the podcast.
Oh yeah, for
one of
sure,
these days.
bro. I've already invited him on the podcast, but I
And
don't.
Smiley.
He didn't know. Yeah,
Smiley would tear this place down.
Smiley actually asked me to be on the podcast today, and I was like, "Sure, dude, run it." But then
He would tear the place
He didn't
down.
show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, be that way. But
There.
fucking.
I got a joke. I'm not
I
gonna
was
say
just
it.
about to say there's a joke to be made.
There's a whole bunch of jokes to be made.
I was just about
A whole
to
bunch
say.
of jokes to be made. But so they put this this billiard room with a bar up there. There's 4 pool tables and like bar. They had like a vodka, a fucking tequila, and all the beer you wanted. Small bar, but just a few things, right? We went up there. We were playing, and this guy shows up. And in Mexico, or at least in our town, you can tell
When 5 white trucks pull up, and
No,
he's,
but check this. We're already up there.
yeah.
And dude walks in. He has a whole bunch of guys with him, but the guys are like dressed in black and kind of like not drinking, not shooting pool. They're just like sitting around.
Well,
there.
sketchy looking.
Right. But this guy,
Mexico.
so this guy is drinking, buying people drinks. And my brother is over here playing, and he was good at pool. I don't know if he is anymore because, this has been probably like 10, 15 years, right? And he's like, hey, I'll play you for 100 pesos. Well, all right, Chris had 100 pesos, which at this point in time, I think it's probably like
$5.
15 cents.
no, probably like
Isn't it a 1 to 20?
probably like we'll call it $7.
Right.
Right. So, but in the town we grew up in, $7 goes a long way.
Right.
So, but all right, cool. They start playing. We had been drinking, and we were young. Don't get me wrong. Like we always had the respect, but on
Talking
the
that
game,
shit.
it's different game, right? You have a little bit more
Wiggle room
to fucking speak, right?
Yep.
So we're playing, and he shot this. Honestly, it was the most ridiculous fucking 8-ball fucking shot. It was like from across the fucking table, hitting it on the backside, hitting 2 fucking banks, and going into the fucking corner. Like some stupid shit that you see like in a fucking Thailand video on fucking Facebook. And he puts it in, and this dude was mad. He had his gold chains. He had the fucking Tejana, probably like a fucking $700 fucking
and
hat.
I think the
$600-$700 hat.
The way you told the story to me originally was that you knew these dudes were about something, and fucking
No, that's what I'm saying.
You lightweight told Chris maybe you shouldn't make this shot.
but yes, that was the thing. So we knew they were about something because you walk in, nigga fancy, right?
Yeah.
He's got the money. You can tell you got the money. And Chris is over here shooting. They're shooting. I mean, the man could shoot, right? Yeah. But Chris had that last shot. And I was like, hey man, like if you're gonna shoot, you might want to just put it in that pocket and call it quits. And he's like, no, I'm gonna fucking show off type shit. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Doesn't sound like Chris at all.
I'm like, and he just takes this fucking long ass, all green fucking tack, crazy fucking shot. And I saw this man, right? He's probably like 45, well groomed, rich,
The person that shouldn't be out in the fucking
not
stick
where,
bar.
where we fucking live. There's not those guys. Because the rich people in our town, are just like those guys with the fucking ox plowing the fucking field. They got money, but they ain't about that
they
fucking
got a
flashy
couple.
life.
They got a couple alpacas.
Yeah, they ain't about that flashy life. So he puts it in, and this dude is mad. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, Chris, we gotta go. And we were with Rogelio, one of my friends, and Cocono.
Those are good names.
Well, Rogelio is an actual name. Cocono means turkey. His name is George. His name is George. But, yeah, Jorge, that's his name. Yeah, but we call him Cocono, right? So, we go downstairs, and he's like really mad. And we start heading toward Escolasticas because we were going to go to our friend's house and not go to our house because sometimes in Mexico, you don't go home when you think there's something going on because then they know where the fuck you live, right? So we're going across the fucking town to another fucking town and fucking hang out with some of our friends at the basketball court and drink some beers. All these fucking white Frontiers that were parked out of there, I was like, oh man, because at that point in time, the fucking feds, the PGJ, those were the feds. They had those, but it didn't say PGJ on it. It was just the same like truck. It's like if you had a whole bunch of fucking Ford Explorers,
like an unmarked
Crown Vics.
Oh, Crown Vics.
Like
the whole
like an undecaled,
like
undecaled fucking Charger or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Just all the same color running behind this fucking. It was it was a Lincoln Blackwood they were called. Mm-hmm. Those it was a truck Lincoln. It was called. I think they were called Blackwoods. And we're going and here come the fucking cars behind us, bro. And we're like, oh, fuck, my nigga. Like, we're getting fucked, bro. Like, you had to take that shot. And I'm yelling at Chris in the car. You had to take that fucking shot. Like, we're going to get, bro. We're going to get got. We fucking make it halfway down to somebody fucking pulls us over. The actual police fucking pulled us over.
That was
the only thing that saved us. The actual police pulled us over. These I swear to God, they would have fucking killed us on the fucking side of the street. Whew.
Didn't they run you for all your money, your belts, and shit like that?
Yeah, because the police in Mexico, and again, I love Mexico. That's my spot. But if you don't got money, the police, they will fucking take everything you have.
Max has always told me, he's like, yo, we should go to Mexico. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. He's like, one thing you need to know about Mexico, he's like, all the fucking rumors and stuff like that, they're not necessarily true,
but they are.
It's one of those things where if you don't say the wrong thing to the wrong person, you won't get dragged on horseback through the fucking mountains. Yeah.
No, it's true. That happened to one of the guys. Yeah, but I mean, that was some weird shit. So Australia,
Yeah, but speaking of Mexico, Australia,
Kind of the same terrain in a way.
Facebook.
It's a wild place.
just
like Australia.
a lot of
Mexico
a lot
and
of
Australia
beautiful,
have
a lot of
mountains
beautiful
and
spots in
deserts.
Australia and Mexico. A lot of poisonous animals and stuff like that.
True.
But if you've been
Just
following
like that
anything,
poisonous person that followed them.
no,
Segue.
the poisonous person in this instance was Chris.
Fair, fair.
You just had to do it.
Just had to do
to
it, bro.
this day, I still wonder. I was like, you know, we could have died. I was probably like 17, bro.
Yeah.
Chris was like 19. I was like, man, that could have just been it.
Yeah.
And that happened a couple times when we were there, and it happened a couple times while we were here. But
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it's rough.
We don't ride as much as Mexico does.
No.
So
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, Google.
Facebook, Google, Microsoft, all that shit. So, if you've been following anything in the news that has happened, apparently the original fucking law that had got passed was in February of 2021. That Australia passed a law that like Facebook and some of these other places needed to start paying money to the media outlets that were like reporting the news and stuff like that.
That sounds fair.
It does sound fair. There's a lot of legality issues.
Well,
that go
yeah,
into,
I mean,
that
but, I mean,
go into this shit.
in
And
the-
then
in
when
the-
you're
in the-
thinking
in the
when you're
grand
thinking
scheme, it
about
sounds fair.
when you're thinking about like countries that aren't the United States where we have freedom of press and stuff like that, and Australia is considered a relatively
There's
free
really no
free
such
country.
thing as freedom of press.
Yes, I understand that, but it's one of those things where they were trying to make the news outlets get paid for their shit, and it just brought this whole fucking shit storm of bullshit that happened. Like 2-3 weeks ago, they were battling about the amount of money that needed to be paid and stuff like that, and Facebook ended up completely shutting off news in general in Australia. Like, if you go on our social media pages and stuff like that, you're scrolling through your timeline, you see articles that are just posted from like the New York Times or something. Those were completely brought out. And it brought in this whole fucking legality of like, we're talking about government, we're talking about social media. Social media, they're private owned businesses, so technically they should be able to do that if they want to, but they're not. And the thing that really is like the deeper part of it is Australia wants to have more censored like bigotry and stuff like that. Like they don't want like the white supremacist groups and stuff being able to speak freely and stuff like that. They want more censorship of the articles that are at hand. And now it's bringing up all these questions like, well, should we be behind Facebook for for posting whatever they want to, like it's freedom of speech, or should we be behind Australia who wants to censor this shit and fucking like not have all the fuck?
I don't think censorship's ever the answer.
No, I don't think I agree with that. I don't think it's ever the answer. I do believe that in certain fucking social climates that some type of censorship may fucking help you not have fucking civil wars or fucking
Yeah.
because like I would say like
that's the interesting that we're learning like now us as a fucking society and a generation. We grew up in the 90s, we grew up in an analog society, and we've moved into the digital society. So like all that fucking readily access thing where like anybody can access any information that they want to at any time. Now it's like, should we necessarily have free speech, or are we looking out for ourselves by not having all the fuck shit on there?
Right. Because there's that fine line in between like this is okay, this is not okay, but I'm gonna put both of them out there.
Yeah.
Right? But at that point in time, you're creating a space where people can pick something that isn't right. You know? Now, is the freedom of choice something that you should have? Yes. But
But do we deserve the freedom of choice?
I mean, I think
Do we have the intelligence or the self-discipline to fucking...
No, yes.
You're born with
you will always have that freedom of choice, and I will stand behind it.
I stand behind that too.
But the only thing that I'm trying to say is that in a time like, say, like, for these past 20 years, anything fucking political, anything fucking, we'll call it inflammatory, will be through social media. And that's why the people that are at the top take a temp, right? They call it like a societal temp or a media temp, right? They take the temperature of what's hot and what's not, right? So they take this data from the rest of the people, and that's how they mold their position on what we want or what we do. Now, if we give them that, are we diminishing our actual beliefs by giving them the power to say, oh, this is what they think, this is what we're going to do? Instead of them coming up with their own fucking ideas and saying, hey, let's try something new, instead of just trying to appease the people that are on the other side of the screen.
Well,
it's a slippery slope.
That's the thing.
Slope, because at the end of the day, somebody is going to be making the choice of what goes and what doesn't, and that person, that media outlet, whoever gets that ruling, just has way too much power, because then it becomes like, if I don't like a restaurant and somebody says something about a restaurant that I do like, then we'll let that on our page. And that's obviously in a very
it's all based on
general idea. But yes, when it comes to politics, you can be like, everybody on the right side, they're allowed on my Facebook. But everybody on the left, get them the fuck.
That's the thing. That's the thing about this whole scenario. It's like, who's really in power now? Is it the government or is it the social media outlet?
That just depends. I don't know if the government is telling themselves I don't know.
Okay, well, this is how
because governments are based around their own individual nation. Social media is everywhere. Right. So if you ask me, the social media kind of has the more power.
But the social media is everywhere, but based on the social media, the government does what they believe through the media will make them look okay.
Right.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. They're both influential in the sense that one is going to make shit tick or talk. But here's what can you give people to make them choose or not choose the right or wrong thing? Right. That's the problem, you know.
But the thing about it is social.
Right?
Yeah, but here's the thing about it is the social media Facebook has literally shut off news in Australia and stuff like that. And it's one of those
I don't
things
believe
where
that. I do believe that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you should just shut off the fucking news.
Right. I don't either.
No.
That's why this is such just like an in-depth fucking intricate situation. But the point that I'm trying to make when it comes to like the levels of power, like the Australian government isn't the one that's in control here. Facebook is. Because Facebook can take away all the fucking news. And they did.
Wait, is that a government thing or is it just a Facebook thing? The government has nothing to do with this.
That's the thing. It's a little bit. We don't know. It's a little bit of both. We really don't know who's in power. Even though, if you really look into it, the social media is the one who's in power, because if it's their private-owned business, if they want to take away news from their fucking social media in Australia, they did.
If you do not privatize information, then it doesn't matter. But when it's privatized to the point where I can pull this from you, fuck you,
right?
Then that's a problem. You know, when you have media outlets that are entities in themselves and not actually part of the society or the community,
the politics.
You know, so then that can be a pivot for anything that you want to use it for.
So
it's not necessarily that they're the power, but they are the pivot in which power is working on. You know what I mean?
But wouldn't you agree that is the power at that point?
No, they're the pivot of the power. Like, if I have this, I can go either here or there. If I don't have it, then I run shit. You know what I mean? So you would have more power if it's not there. But if you necessarily need that information to influence your people, then that's the pivot on which you can fucking turn left or right.
I don't necessarily.
Why is this only happening in Australia? What's the deal?
Because they said fuck you.
Well, Australia.
I was wondering,
because
Australia wanted Facebook to pay
because
to
Australia
have news in their
because Australia wanted them to fucking start paying the news outlets for having the information on their.
Basically doing their job.
Okay, so like the Australian government started doing this.
Yeah, they passed a law that said that Facebook and all these, they needed to fucking pay the outlets that were providing the news to them.
And there is a lot of business. It's not necessarily. Well, it is.
It's all money,
but it's a lot of business versus the politics. So it's probably more like, I want you, big billionaire fuckhead, that just puts your shit all over my country, to fucking pay a tax in my country for doing that, right? Because you're receiving all of these people from my country, all of these followers, all of these users, all of this, all of that. So it's a tax. but I don't want to tax you, so fuck you.
And I think a
Right.
lot of
So
the recent
that's the problem. It's like, well, I don't want to be taxed, so I'm going to pull. But am I pulling the information to like keep you at bay and not give you what you want so that you need me later?
Right.
Yeah.
Or is it
And
I'm pulling it because you don't want me anymore? But it's not that. It can't be that.
And
because
I-
business is business.
I think a lot of
They're gonna
I
make
think,
your
the,
money.
You know
I
what I
think a
mean?
lot of the thing about Australia being the kind of center point of that is Australia is one of those countries that is like that they're like considered a free like first world country, but at the same time Melbourne, as of yesterday, Melbourne, Australia, is just now getting out of their lockdown situation. They've been locked down this entire time.
They were like
So
lockdown.
There's like some things they're like they're considered a free state or whatever, but are they really? And I think that's one of the reasons why they're like the center point is it's because they have all these fucking political things that are going on there, but they're not necessarily what they say they are.
But see, and that's where we falter as people to see them as people, because we say, are they a free state? They've been on lockdown. Well, maybe in their culture, in their people, in their government
what they think is
thought
right.
that would be the best thing for them, right? Now, for us, that might seem like that's not an okay thing, but if that works for them, then we should be able to respect their
culture.
thought,
Their culture, their
and
society.
and their thoughts. But us as Americans, we don't do that.
but-
we like to fucking
Heavens no.
we like to grab, smush, or fucking make people assimilate, and that's a big problem that we have as a country. I'm not saying that it's not a great country, but we do try to fucking say, well, if you're not me, go and get.
Yeah,
Right.
if
You know,
our
it's kinda
ideology is not also yours,
Then
you
you're
are
wrong.
on the wrong.
Correct.
Yeah, so
You
we're
know.
either gonna bring you to
Well,
our
and there's-
side,
Or we're gonna
fuck
kick you out. You know.
And it also kind of goes into it, like, obviously, we don't know the political atmosphere around Australia.
No,
Like,
correct. I
we-
don't.
Like, I'm assuming that the Australians are not button heads right now like the Americans are. So, just kind of like thinking outside of the box here, it's like, is Australia looking at the reports that have came out rather recently of how Facebook goes with the algorithms and bumps these controversial
and
comments?
Did you see that the Facebook thing? Like, their own database showed that this incremented fucking depression in children, and this did this to teenage girls, and this did this, and this did that. But and this is all like
Oh, it's
public news
documented.
now, and this was
been-
recently.
they've
Is that
been
what you were
interview-
talking
yeah, it
about?
was like-
This is very
like
recently.
3 weeks ago.
Right.
So if and don't get me wrong,
Are you
like,
talking about like the whistleblower situation that just happened with
Yeah.
Facebook? Okay.
yeah. So if I'm a country,
How they
and-
manipulate the comments.
and if I notice that there is a conglomerate that is taking advantage of my population, well, you can pay me to take advantage of them, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You can pay me to take advantage of them, or you can get out.
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with it.
That's where it's
they're
at.
standstill.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of where I was going with it, where the Australian government's looking at Zuckerberg and Facebook, and they're like, well, here's the deal, dude. Like, we see the climate in America right now to the point where everybody's at each other's fucking throats.
Mm-hmm.
You guys it has came out multiple times that you guys inflate the controversial comments to try and get people to get more
Mm-hmm.
clicks, get more comments, etc. I don't want that. I don't want
And I
what's
don't want
going
that
on
here
in the U.S. here.
to happen
Exactly.
here. Yeah. So
So I want you to pay me. If you're going to fucking bring any of this nonsense in here,
There's gonna
I'm
be a
at least
tax
going to
for
make
it.
a monetary value off of it.
yeah, and I mean, I honestly think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think
If you're going to feed us shit, you're going to pay me for it.
if there is visible and tangible evidence that you're fucking up people's lives, and you know it, because this was their data. It wasn't pulled from anybody
This
else.
was a Facebook
This was
employee that came
Facebook
out.
Data.
Yeah, I mean, if you yourself, and especially with how fucking massive of a thing Facebook is,
Yes.
It's the biggest.
are just here to rile people up and try to cause something out of literally nothing. Maybe there is something, I don't really know necessarily,
Yeah.
but if there is proof that you are literally just causing these problems, like you are making sure people see this one small incident to make it up into a bigger thing,
Yeah.
then yeah, me as a country, I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah.
we were fine. We are
Right.
okay.
I will let
Stop
I
doing
will let my people choose if you pay me the money when I have a fucking war.
Right.
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but honestly, that's how this shit works.
If we got people going at each other's throats, we got to figure
Like
something out.
I need some fucking money for fucking some FEMA shit.
Like I get business is business.
No, but
I gotta look out for myself as well as my
It sounds like a
population.
very like simple, rudimentary type fucking idea, but at the end of the day, that's
I mean, it's pretty
much what the fuck
yes,
it is.
it's definitely like an intrinsic thing, but at the end of the day, it's pretty basic.
And now all of a sudden,
Intrinsic was
Facebook's
a very
going under
good
like a
word.
massive
Did I use it right,
rebrand.
though?
You did.
Okay, cool.
But like now Facebook's going over that massive rebrand where it's not even going to be called like I don't even think it's going to be called Facebook.
Yeah,
anymore.
I saw that
They're, like,
Zuckerberg was
focusing on the
they're going to
metaverse.
change the
So
name.
Run that for me. I don't know that.
I don't know enough about it to really
I don't
get
know.
into
I
it.
don't know how real this is, but I did see what you're talking
Yeah.
about. That Zuckerberg is talking about because of the whole entire whistleblower situation and shit. That they're just going to completely rebrand
Yeah.
Facebook into a completely different.
Yeah, he's trying to
Social
get it
media.
to be
And
a part of like a
you know
metaverse.
all that is. I don't know the people that may watch this.
I don't
from
know. I feel like
Cincinnati.
that's.
Somebody
that's a stretch,
mentioned
though.
that. I saw.
I
I don't
feel-
know what.
I'm not
podcast I listened
correlating
to.
to it.
Yeah, I feel like that.
necessarily,
I
but-
feel like if you're going to rebrand Facebook, that's kind of a bad
So-
business.
No, but
Supposedly,
check this, dude.
that's not real.
I can tell you why it's not. Because just basic business, right? We all know the Golden Nugget, right?
Shut up, man.
We know no, but check this. You know where the fucking Golden Nugget is, right?
The strip club in Panama.
No.
That's what I thought you were talking
the
about.
one-
Honestly,
the one
that's
across
only
the-
one I've ever been to. The Golden Nugget.
No, the one across the street from Murray's.
Oh,
It's
down
called-
at the bottom.
It ain't
yes,
there.
yes,
It
yes.
ain't there anymore.
Well, it was called
That's
G
where
Money's
Adrian
and this,
Brenner
that,
got
that.
arrested 115 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That exact place. So we
Yeah.
do know
I work
where
across
it's
the
at,
street
right?
from there at the drive-thru.
So, right there.
Yeah.
So, every time somebody got shot or something happened, they changed the name of the fucking bar.
And at Murray's, that never happened.
And if somebody fucking did this and the other, the bar's name changed. And if something happened again, the bar's name changed. So it's not necessarily that the same people aren't using it and the same things aren't
Right.
happening, but if you change the name,
Everybody's
people
like, oh.
people assume,
Yes.
and because we are not the smartest people in the world,
No.
the smartest person is not that
I saw
smart
it, man.
to
Yes.
say,
I did
It's
see
weird.
it.
oh wait, they've changed.
Right.
World
Only
is
because
weird.
it's a name.
Yes.
But they
All
haven't because
because
they
you
haven't
You
changed.
drive past it, and yes, you're just like, oh,
Oh.
they changed the name. They must have got new ownership.
Yeah, it's
It must be a totally different place now.
But no.
Yes.
But I mean, and Facebook is going to do the same thing, but billions and billions of dollars
Right.
So
worth
here's-
of rebranding.
here's the
versus a
basis.
sign.
So
Here's-
I think the Facebook thing is only the parent company that owns Facebook.
Well, this
isn't
is what I'm about to say. This
Facebook
is
is
the
the
basis of it. So, according to reports, Facebook is considering adopting a new corporate identity while still retaining individual brands, which include Facebook app, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Oculus virtual reality. It would be similar to the move that Google made in 2015 when it rebranded its corporate umbrella as Alphabet. So it
Right.
kind of sounds like it's going to be like an umbrella of all of their things just wrapped up into one.
Yes.
Platform.
Which
still
right
be
now
called
is
Facebook.
okay. That
Yeah.
makes more
It'll
sense.
still be
Yeah.
called Facebook,
That makes more
but
sense.
whatever the
now.
weird header on everything.
Exactly.
On like emails.
Gotcha.
Blah,
So,
blah, blah,
so that's
will be-
exactly what I was saying. Yeah,
Yeah, it's-
fucking
okay.
the golden nugget is the fucking golden nugget.
Yes.
You can call it whatever you want afterwards,
But it's the
the
golden
nugget.
fucking golden nugget.
Like-
It's like when Funky Dunks went to sports of all sorts. Like, it was
Correct. It's
fucking
the
Funky
Funky
Dunks.
Dunks.
Exactly. It's the
You
same
said
fucking
Google?
thing.
Google is somebody alphabet company or something?
Yeah, like
Nobody's
they
ever heard of that
they
ever.
have an
It's-
No,
alphabet.
I actually saw this today. It was a meme that they had. It was regarding the vaccines and stuff like that. It was like the top 10 people in Congress who were holding stock in a certain company.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it showed 2014. It showed 2020. And Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer were both in the top fucking 10,
But-
10 of this. But Alphabet was actually on that list. It's
a big
like-
company.
Yeah, it's like Google's fucking
their-
entirety
it's
of
their
like
cloud.
YouTube, fucking Google,
Yeah.
whatever,
It's like their
Google
cloud.
Plus,
It's
whatever.
weird
fucking
because
shit
nobody
they have.
just knows that name. Like, I would have never known that name.
Well, I think that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
there's, it's
that's-
like Luxottica owns
Right.
fucking
It's like
That's fair.
like Luxottica owns like anything eyeglasswear wise. Like Luxottica, like their umbrella.
That monopoly is crazy.
Yes, like their umbrella is Oakley. It's the Sears stores. It's like Ray Bans. It's everything.
Ray-Ban,
So, like,
regular glasses, sunglasses.
nobody
everything.
ever hears about
Literally,
Luxottica,
like
though.
99.9% of the
Yes.
glassware that you have on your face right now
Comes
is
from
owned by
Luxottica.
one country or one corporation worldwide.
but you don't hear about that company because that's not what the brand says on your glasses.
Right.
So it's like it's
diversified.
I need new glasses.
Yeah.
they're gonna be from Luxottica at the end of the day.
Speaking-
To do with Luxottica.
Speaking of new glasses, World Cup is coming to Cincinnati, y'all.
Well,
are
it's
you
not
guys
coming.
gonna-
We're putting our bid in.
Yeah, putting the bid in.
Oh, I thought it was coming.
No, so it's
No,
just a
so-
bid.
So I think.
However, we do have some legs with our bid because we have so many college areas around us to where you
And we
can
have a new
hold
stadium,
practices and
yeah.
all that, and then the new stadium, which is the biggest MLS stadium
Yeah.
in the country. So there is legs behind it.
Are you fucking gonna do the party like downtown Mexico versus United States? I think it's November.
Yeah, where they have,
When Mexico is playing the United States.
In Cincinnati.
So, yeah, and they're
I think
in-
the
I'm
11th,
there.
November
Downtown.
11th or 12th.
Bro,
Yeah,
let's
in
get
downtown,
tickets.
it says-
Let's get
it
tickets.
says-
Bro, that's like fucking $1,200 for a fucking shitty seat. Now check this
12.
though.
Wait, did you say 1,200?
Or more.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Not
never mind.
Yeah.
I'll sneak in that bitch. I'll sneak in that
Pesos?
bitch.
No, but actually, Allison lives on Ray Street, so it's like
Right off.
maybe
there, pretty
like
much. Yeah, I mean,
6 minutes walking from the stadium. So we'll probably like if you guys want to do it because I'm from the United States.
I would be
and I
there.
grew up in Mexico. It's
Right.
going to be one
You
of the
have to go.
craziest
Yeah,
fucking.
you have to
So
go.
I'm not going to go to the game because I can't afford to
Yeah,
drop
no.
$1,500 on a
But
ticket.
that party's gonna be
But
lit.
a party because I'm sure it's going to be jumping.
Well, they
downtown,
said free food
yo.
and beer. Well, they said free food plus beer. So I don't know. They didn't put the free part in front
Beer's
of the
better
beer.
for
But I'm
But-
gonna be jumping.
correct.
that'd be awesome.
That'd be
But-
so much fun.
Bro, you get like a fucking line of taco trucks. You get a line of fucking burger trucks.
Dude.
Like you just American in Mexico. Like you just get those foods going.
And
oh
you know,
my
it's,
god.
it's like the biggest rivalry in North America, of course.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well, it's
and
because we don't have any rivals.
there's
'cause we
only
ain't worth a
three.
fuck.
There's only three. There's only three countries in North America.
And it's trash inside.
Well, it's the biggest one, though.
Shut up. There's three. I thought,
This
I
one
thought
and
we
that
had
one
a
is
bid.
it. This one and this
Like,
one.
No, so we still got to put it in and get a print for it and
It's the
everything.
biggest.
And now aren't they
Yes.
doing something different with this World Cup though, where they're like introducing the United States as like the United States in general? It's not localized to one city.
No, it's always been that way.
Yeah, it's
It
like,
has always been.
So
it was
localized.
like back in
so
the
I'm
90s.
thinking
it was
about
in
the
Atlanta.
Olympics because
No.
I think I might be talking about the Olympics for like the 2028.
No,
Olympics
so
or some
like
shit.
the World Cup, when they pick a country, they pick major cities with the following
facilities,
and the
yeah.
facilities. So like if you what the last one was where?
World
Qatar.
Cup.
No, that's the new one.
No, that's the new one coming up.
It was Brazil.
Brazil. So
Now that-
there'll be games in Sao Paulo. There'll be games in Rio de Janeiro. There'll be games over here. There'll be games over there.
Right.
So it is in that country, but they're going to be breaking up because
Yeah, they
I
break
mean
it
you
up in-
can't you
okay.
can't have
And that's what I was
like
saying.
all of these countries just go to one city.
Right.
Like, it's,
And that's what I was
it's a lot.
saying. Like Cincinnati's actually kind of got some legs behind their bid because of all of these colleges that we have at our use just around us.
Well,
to
I
where
mean, shit.
that could be our Sao Paulo.
Dude,
that
even
could
out-
be
even
they go
outs-
play at UC for the one team plays at UC, one team plays at FC,
Or
one
at
play,
Columbia. They'll
even-
probably
yeah,
play
Columbus or
Columbia.
Dayton, or
But it's
Even
the United
Paul
States,
Brown.
so they'll
Yeah.
pick
Even outside
different
of that,
states with the
even
with the
outside of
crowd.
that, fucking Ohio is the sixth most populated state in the entire United States. A lot of people
Did it
forget
drop?
that.
I thought it was the fifth.
nobody leaves. You're born here and you don't leave.
Yeah. But I mean, still,
less
the fact, and we're like a Midwest, very fucking mild climate type situation. We're not out in the middle of desert or some shit like that.
Ain't
so,
nothing
yeah.
mild about Cincinnati. It's too damn hot and too damn cold half of the time.
We just now. This is the
I
first
don't-
fall
I don't
we've had
agree
in
with
like
that.
7 years.
San
I
Diego.
just hate the humidity.
Yeah, I know, man. Summer.
San
here
Diego
is-
75 year round.
Oh,
Give me
God,
that shit,
Man,
boy.
I'm not traveling enough, so I'm not
Give me
really
that
fucking-
shit, boy.
I just know that. Yeah, I just know that San Diego has the great weather. But
Oh my god, and it's beautiful too.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's
out there,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
I got family out there too.
Shit, we should go one day. I haven't been to. San
I haven't
Diego in,
visited
like,
him.
Oh shit, 7.
Plus, that's
8
my
years?
excuse to get to Petco
I've
too.
been
Yeah.
trying to
I
think
wanna-
of the most west.
I wanna
I've
start
been.
traveling.
Oh, actually, I went to Arizona.
Yeah, you went to Arizona for the what,
Yeah.
golf.
And the motherfucking. It was 57 degrees out
You're like
in
what?
February, and these people are in winter coats, and I'm like in my shorts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, this is great.
I'm from Ohio.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, it's like 57 degrees out right now, and I had to take my little thermal Timberland long sleeve tee off because it's a little bit
plug
hot.
in
He
Timberland.
wants to be sponsored by
What's
Timberland
the
so
sun-
bad.
Hey, Timberland,
Just in
sponsor
case,
us, bro. If we got a Timberland sponsor,
Budweiser
that'd
and
be
Timberland
so fucking lit.
Talons.
All right. Well, you know what, y'all? I think that we have spoken enough on some shit. This is a really good episode. This might have been my favorite episode.
I mean,
wasn't
I
a
don't know if
single
it was a
bad
good
spot.
episode, but I had a good time talking with y'all.
I had a splendid time.
yeah, it was a good time. We'll see you around. I'm definitely going to keep this shit up. You will
Hey,
see me and all three of these people.
Home slice. Before you end, can we do one more thing?
What's up?
What the fuck you think about Joey being these Bengals, my guy?
They're good, dude.
Bengals are back.
They're good.
Actually,
They're fucking
The
good.
Bengals are a lot better than I
Bengals
thought
are
that they would be
actually
this
really
year.
They're good.
fucking awesome. We
They're
should have beat
good.
the Packers. Granted, they also missed field goals.
We should have beat the Bears,
fucking
too.
mad. Yeah, the Bears fucking suck. We should have beat the Bears by like 2 touchdowns. But the Packers, an awesome game to be at.
I was so happy that game ended, though.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
I
I can't
do
take
this.
it, dude.
once Crosby made the last field goal, I was just like, okay, fine, I'll take that because I don't want to see us tie.
I wasn't
and I
mad.
don't want to see us miss
Dude,
another.
even
field
my
goal.
girlfriend was like, there's no way he misses this 40-yarder, right? And I was like, no. And then he kicks it and it just goes, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, babe, you don't understand. Like, this is like a top 10 kicker ever.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
this guy,
ever.
he has been nails for like the last 15 years.
Yeah.
He's not Huber.
And, yes, that.
Huber is our single most reliable. I
Punter,
know,
yeah.
but
Yes,
he still is a kicker.
Oh, yeah, no, he is.
But
Yeah,
he's our
punting.
single most reliable fucking player that has ever
He
played.
plays
for
the
Cincinnati
most out of
Bengals.
everybody.
Yeah.
In terms of like
In the
longevity,
past 7 years.
Bro, he is a
consistent
beast
presence
punter too.
We have had since 2000 is by a long shot the most like important player we have had. Because
I mean, we flipped the field
And
every time.
like that's weird
Yes.
to say, dude. Me and Max have been talking about that forever. He is the most consistent player the Bengals have ever had.
Oh yeah,
Bro.
for sure.
I mean, since the like other than like straight up Hall of Fame players,
Right, like your
yes,
Anthony
like,
Munoz. Yeah.
Post,
He
like,
deserves to be in the Hall of
post
Fame.
1990. Yeah, I mean, punters just almost never get in. I don't know if there's a punter in. I honestly don't.
Is he
Maybe,
the
like, a
clubfoot
couple.
dude?
Should
That's a
be.
good.
The
Sam
clubfoot dude
Sam
used to
Leckler.
have the,
But you know what I mean? Like
longest
the
field
guy
goal
that had
ever.
like he actually had a club
Yes,
foot and he
even
had
a
like
63-yarder.
he had
with a
like
Okay,
club foot.
let me ask you this. I heard this on the Dirty Sports. If you could be guaranteed what Justin Tucker's career was, where do you draft him overall?
Tucker.
Honestly,
Third.
I would
Literally.
Take him, I would take him 1.
Yeah, I'd take him in the top 3.
One. With
Top
his,
3.
with his
With his
what
resume,
is he kicking,
dude?
like 93.
Dude, I mean,
He just
He
just kicked a 60 he just kicked a 60
93%.
he kicked a
There probably
66
is
in
something along those
He's
lines.
probably like 89 to 91%, which is ridiculous.
He might be even higher than that.
yeah.
I don't even know.
He just kicked a
But that
66-yarder indoors
to
in
win.
Detroit. It wasn't even in Denver where all the longest field goals always
Yes.
happen.
But I'll tell you, that fucking block from Jamar
The
Chase,
fucking altitude.
Yes, last week.
that was a block.
I'm like,
Let's say resistance.
that mic'd up was hilarious too because he walked up to CJ Uzama and he's like, I'm like a tight end.
In general, yes. I don't. The Bengals. I said it like probably last year. 3 years. I gave Joe B 3
said
years to reach his maximum like
To
potential.
get there.
And
I
then
don't
he'll-
think this is his maximum
No,
potential.
that's
at all.
what I'm saying. Next year will be 3rd year. I think next year is when he
Nails.
really
Next year's
hit
his 4th
his
year.
peak.
Nails.
See, that's what I said.
Justin
I was like
Tucker.
89
Last year
to
was year
92
one, he
or
got
something like
injured.
that. Yeah.
Justin
This
Tucker.
is literally only year 2.
Justin Tucker has a 90.6%
And then so yeah,
success
I think
rate.
year 3 is when he will
They're
actually.
doing a
hit
lot
his,
better
like,
because I remember
fucking-
saying on the
insane.
podcast in 2020 that it would take them 4 years to get back to
He's
the
never
playoffs.
had a season with a
3
field goal
years
percentage.
for-
And
of
they're
like
looking like
82.
they might make a playoff run.
That's
3 years for me to win the
That's a
Super
monster.
Bowl.
Dude.
That's when I thought we
Well,
had
that
the best
I
chance.
don't know about that,
'Cause-
dude.
on some
I
real
said
shit.
I said it right when we draft them. I said in 3 years we will have our best chance.
I-
to
But I'll tell you what,
Especially
do
with the
remember you
team,
saying that
especially
over
with the
and
team that we're building.
Yeah, dude, and fucking
Our defense
we've
is
got,
good.
We've got
Flat out
not only
good.
we've got not only the best rookie receiver, but probably the best fucking player in the league right now.
I mean, Jamar Chase.
when you're a
Jamar
Jamar
Chase is up
Chase,
there,
man,
but-
when he's fucking
Derrick Henry's the most dominant
I was about to say, I will give Derrick Henry the
Derrick
best one
Henry.
in the league right now
Yeah.
is Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I thought you
That
said
man
best
is a
wide receiver
monster.
because I
Yes.
wouldn't argue best
That's a
wide
lab
receiver.
baby.
That's
Best
up
player?
for debate.
Yeah.
I thought you said best wide receiver, but yeah, best player. Yeah, we've still got other guys out there.
I think it's Derrick Henry. That's the most dominant player on the football
I've
field.
never seen somebody
Period.
just be so disgusting with the ball.
He was
that
born
guy-
in a lab, dude.
He's fast and he's huge.
Dude.
And he just
He throws people. Throws people.
Get off me,
Throws
type
about Derrick
shit.
Henry.
Like, it's wild.
Look at his high school statistics.
Oh, dude.
It is
6,000
so-
6,000 yards
I
in
have
4
no
years.
You know, someone just broke that.
What did he just put all
It was
the
a
yards
single
on
game.
it?
Single
Dude,
game.
it's like
Oh,
he
single
scored
game
like
record.
58
Oh, okay.
touchdowns in like 12 games.
He had 6,000 rushing yards in 4 years.
Yeah, that's
And he is like the size he is
High
right
school?
now.
They-
Is
yeah.
pretty much the
They
exact
made-
same size he was.
they
as a junior
made-
in high school.
I would have
They
been
made a Derrick-
pissed if I had
We,
to.
we can
They made a
literally go
Derrick
watch
Henry
YouTube
roll.
film of him playing in high school.
Yeah.
It's some of the funniest.
He
You know
was-
he gets. You
It's
know he
just
gets
him
bodies,
owning
right?
small white boys.
You know he gets bodies, right?
Oh yeah.
Like because usually it's like the like the what do they call it? Like those mannequins that
Right,
you go and you
yes.
push down. He gets
He gets real people.
He gets
Yeah.
real people.
Somebody
He
got
mushes
drafted.
them.
Somebody got drafted
mush.
to be his fucking
Mush.
stiff arm dummy. I'm telling you right now, I'll take
You're
league
my
minimum.
stiff arm dummy.
I will take league minimum and go do that.
Oh yeah.
Trust me.
Oh,
Shit, if I
Trust
get
me.
stiff armed by
Shove my
Derrick
shit
Henry,
into
that
the
would be a
dirt, bro.
story I'll tell for the rest
I'll
of my
even-
life.
I'll fucking sell it. I'll fly across the goddamn field if you want to get
I'll
have it go
autograph a picture
viral.
of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, dude. Trust me.
But yes, the Bengals. I think next year will be
They're good.
our best chance to actually win it all.
Especially
Or,
with
I mean, obviously,
I just want a
anything after
playoff
that,
game.
but
I just want a playoff
I
game.
just want a
I
playoff
agree.
game.
I agree.
Next year will be our.
Isn't that so sad?
But here's the thing, though.
Four people who have been living
Yeah.
in
I just
Cincinnati
want
for their
a playoff
entire
win.
lives, we just want a playoff win. We don't want a Super Bowl. We just want.
I will cry real tears if we win a Super Bowl.
Oh, dude,
I
I'm
cried
gonna be.
real tears when we didn't
Bro,
win it in
dude,
16.
with the Bengals,
I was at the game, dude.
Steelers game, bro, I fucking cried real tears.
I was
I
at the
cried.
game. Dude.
It was Johnny
I couldn't
who.
cry. I was there, but
It was
would've been
fucking
made
Johnny
fun
who.
of.
Yes.
I bet everyone was crying
I
at that
cried.
fucking
oh,
stadium.
dude, I turned around. I punched my chair
we were-
after they threw the
Bro,
flag on.
I'm
first,
telling
dude.
you,
And I
we were
split
with
that
each other
motherfucker
beside
around
the
the
bar.
middle.
No,
Bro,
behind the
actually,
fucking couch, we're standing
that's a
up, the
real
TV's right there, we're behind the
that's a
couch.
real good way to end it. This
Yeah, we'll do it.
this is a real good way to end it. I saw Stolze post something. 3 worst sports experiences you've ever had in your entire life.
3 worst Cincinnati sports experiences.
Not Cincinnati, in general.
Oh,
Well,
mine are all Cincinnati.
Yeah,
so the
Bengals.
3 that I picked were the Bengals Meltdown.
Was that 15? That was 15,
15,
right?
yeah.
I think,
yeah.
I
15
think,
season?
I
I
think
did-
all of us can agree here that the Bengals meltdown
That's the number
against the
one.
Steelers is number
Yeah.
one.
That's my
So
number
that's
one.
one of them for me. The second one was the game 3 against the Giants when we were up 2-0 when we pitched to Buster Posey with the
Yes.
bases loaded. And then my third one, just because it's like my childhood basketball hero, was the Kmart injury.
Okay.
Because
So-
all 3 of those teams were good enough to win the
Yes,
championship that year.
Yep.
The
So
Pittsburgh Steelers went and won it, and then the Giants went and won that
Giants
year.
won it, yep.
Bengals Steelers 2015 fucking season. That's definitely my number one. I've never been so distraught and fucked up.
Dude, I was fucked up for a
It was
month.
like a whole 2 days. I didn't speak.
I was just like-
fucked up for a long time, but I didn't speak for 2 days.
Dude, if I didn't speak, it was just me sitting there, and all of a sudden it would just overcome me. I'm like, why did he fumble? Go down.
My second would be Zinedine Zidane when France was playing Italy in the World Cup. I think it was 2006. Zinedine Zidane. It was his last game. He was in the World Cup. He's the most fucking magical fucking player fucking soccer ever. He went out on a fucking headbutt to the dude's chest. They went to overtime.
I've seen that video.
If he was on the lineup.
I've seen the video. He does.
I know that video.
And the dude goes,
took him
drops.
straight.
Drops.
If he were on the fucking lineup, that would have been France's fucking World Cup. They lost it to Italy. That hurt me, bro. Because Zinedine Zidane, I just loved him. And then my third one,
I don't even know if I have a third one.
But those 2 definitely changed my life. Those
Dude,
2
they do.
definitely
They'll
changed
Tell you
affect
what.
you for several days, weeks, years.
The Kevin
yeah.
Ware injury changed my fucking life because I had to go play CYO later that night. Right after I watched it, I was like,
Dude, that Kevin Ware injury.
I'm like,
was
bro, they
something
can just
else.
have 3-pointers. Like, I'm not closing out. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like,
I've never shot a
Oh
corner
no,
3 the
I
same way.
I know the third one. I don't remember what year it was, but it was probably like either 16 or 17. Fucking UC and Xavier were in the fucking Sweet 16, and they both lost in the same fucking on the same court, the same motherfucking day, and they were both up at halftime.
Yep.
I was like,
was that the UCLA game?
That's my second.
I was like-
that's actually
No,
my
wasn't it?
second.
I was
Yeah,
like,
the
because
Nevada game?
I went to Xavier.
Remember when
That's
UC
a
was
good
that was
team.
like- that was
but
like-
you know,
that
I'm
was
still
like
from
3 or 4
Cincinnati, so you
years
see,
ago.
I
Yeah, I don't
was
like
rooting for both
UC
of them.
like that.
They
They were
both
22.
lost the same
both
day, and
lost.
they were
I'm
trying
both
to
up.
think of my
both
third,
up by
dude.
several because yes, my one, as we talked about, Bengals Steelers. 2 is the game that you guys are all trying. Yes, the Nevada Cincinnati
Yeah.
game. Bearcats were
Up
up by like
22.
22
20,
at the
yeah.
half, yeah.
22 in the second half of the game.
And Jaron
they
Cumberland just
fucking
starts jacking
lost.
threes.
And then third would probably be. I've got a lot.
Cincinnati
I
sports
know
are
it.
fucking
Dude, I
tough.
really
It's
don't
the
even know if
poison
I have
dart
a third.
frogs, bro. That fucked you up forever,
the
bro.
poison dart frogs. What's funny? So what's really great too. So obviously,
Yeah.
almost anybody that listens to this Well, no, like, yes, the Poison Dart Frogs, TCU versus Texas.
I think this is one of our first podcasts of all time.
I think you're right.
I think this was one of our guys. I think this was one of the first podcasts.
It might have. Yeah.
I think this was one of the first podcasts that we had of all time when we talked about the Poison Dart Frogs.
Absolutely right.
I picked Texas. They have Sam Ellinger, who at the time you're like, oh yeah, going to be a Heisman candidate, quarterback in the NFL, blah blah blah. So yes, I'll take them with a point over TCU. Bet a lot of money because I was like, a point? TCU sucks. What are we talking about here? And then, like, they just come out in the coolest jerseys of all time. TCU comes out in what they call the Poison Dart Frog jersey. And if you don't know anything about Poison Dart Frogs, they fucking kill you.
And they fucking did.
I was at a family party watching this game in the basement, just being
melting into your
pissed,
chair.
dude, like every time, just pissed. So, yeah, I guess that could be 3. And it's funny because a couple of weeks ago, Texas and TCU played again. I've been chasing ever since. The last 3 years, I have bet on that game. I have lost every single time. And I've switched teams back and forth, back and forth.
You just don't win it.
I thought it was finally my time because they didn't call them the Poison Dart Frog jerseys, but they wore completely purple uniforms, which is a lot like the Dart Frog jerseys. Completely purple and black.
They showed up looking like the Panthers. What do you expect?
They announced it on like a Thursday. Game was on Saturday. I was like 1,000% on betting.
Them Lancers got
because they're
bucked last night, boy.
They're finally wearing the all purple. I can bet on them. I can get closure. I'll never bet on this game for the rest of my life. They fucking lost. They had to lose by 4 or less. They could still lose. They could lose 4 or less. They lost by 5. They lost by 5.
I've seen Harmeyer
How the fuck
flip
did they lose
the
by
fuck
5
out
in a
about a
game?
1 point discrepancy on a fucking bet, dude.
There's nothing worse than a bad beat like that, dude. Like it's a blowout. You're like, oh yeah, I have like Appalachian State minus 19, and they're up 22, or they're up 21, and some dude at the end of the buzzer just like fucking jacks up a 3.
Yep.
You're like, oh my god, he just beat the spread.
Yeah,
You're like, oh my god, it didn't mean anything. Like, why are you even shooting the ball?
I just want out of this personal hell because for the rest of my time, I have to just bet on that game until I win it, and then I'll never bet on either of those teams ever again. Period.
He won't, dude.
Doesn't matter. TCU or Texas.
I can confirm that.
They're both
I can confirm that.
extremely dead to me.
Extremely
They're
good.
dead to me. But
Like Poison Dart
just let
Frog
me
dead.
win 1. Let me out of this. This is like a hell. This is like a Groundhog's Day of me losing this fucking bet.
Listen to the fucking
It just
Dart
keeps
Frog.
happening.
Harmeyer.
Do you know the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over
And expecting different results. Yeah.
That's 100%. I am going insane. Fuck.
All right.
Put me in a straight jacket.
Put me in a straight jacket.
Let me get my 3 out and let's end this bitch. This has been the longest podcast we had. So number 1, the Cincinnati versus Steelers game.
Right.
That's all of our number 1s. Second was when Kentucky. I'm a huge UK basketball
Christian
fan.
Laettner.
No, actually not. I wasn't alive for that.
I know.
Actually,
No, you weren't.
No.
It was the 80s.
no, yeah, it was the 80s. The second was when Kentucky had that fucking squad where they went undefeated for 38 games
Was
and then
Anthony
lost
Davis?
to Wisconsin in the Final Four. I remember I was
That's one
at
of my favorite UK
dude,
memories.
Dude, I
That's
was
one of
at
my favorite ones. We
I
were at
was
St.
at
Williams watching that.
I was at Joey
That
Strauss.
wasn't Anthony Davis. No, because Anthony Davis won a national.
No,
that was
Anthony
Karl Anthony
Davis-
Towns.
Yeah,
Karl Anthony
it was
Towns, that's it.
Towns,
Devin
Cauley
Booker.
Stein, the Harrison twins.
When
yeah.
they got
Yeah.
bullied by who's that white dude?
Sam Decker.
Well, Sam
and
Decker and then
Kaminsky.
Frank Kaminsky.
Frank
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing about that entire scenario. I was like the one.
It was just
team,
a bad matchup.
I was like, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I was like, the one team I do not want to play in this entire tournament is Wisconsin
Yeah,
because
'cause
they
they can
play
shoot and
all
they got tall,
35
yeah.
seconds of that
Yep.
shot clock.
Right.
So when they lost in the Final Four after being an undefeated team, and they were by far the best college basketball team to ever fucking step on the floor. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. When they lost that
Bill
game,
Russell
I was
has
at
entered the chat.
I was at Joey Strauss' house. I went home to watch the game with my dad. Came back to Joey Strauss' house at his diaper party for his kid, and I literally was there for like 5 minutes. It's like, I can't do this, and left. And then third was when Kentucky marched from an 8 seed. Oh, we can hear fucking Max
Yeah.
pissing in the fucking headphones, dude.
Sounds like a garden hose.
He's got a stream on him. But when Kentucky was an 8 seed and marched all the way to the national championship game against UConn and then lost that game, that was probably number
It's
3.
crazy. All his least favorite UK memories are like all my favorite.
Yes.
Shut up, bro.
even though I will say I fucking hated Grayson Allen, and I did not want him to win a national championship. So I was pulling so hard for Wisconsin in that national championship, dude. And Wisconsin had it. Like, they were up like 10.
That was a morale thing.
Oh, my God.
That was a morale thing. They just got out beating the fucking...
They just got out. It was just more talent at the end of the game.
Dude, that Duke team was not that good. They walked to a fucking national championship.
Oh, yeah. I mean, their brackets always fucking cake.
Dude, fucking... They always get... You know what?
They
We're
lose
not
in
even
the second
getting into
round.
this. I'll start talking for fucking 30 more minutes about how Duke gets fucking every
They get
fucking...
cakewalks.
Peace out,
Everything.
team.
Later, y'all.
Godspeed.
Episode 27.
Later,
Good
guys.
episode.
See
We'll
y'all.
see y'all later.